Futures little change here this morning as expected ahead of, hey, guess what? It's Fed Day this afternoon, coming up at 2 p.m. this afternoon. Make sure you are right here. We will bring the interest rate decision to you. We will bring the accompanying statement to you and also the press conference as it happens this afternoon. Little change, though, as I mentioned, we are positive on the morning, which is always a good sign after what we saw yesterday. I mean, basically back and forth the entire session as expected as well. Pretty decent day, though, for stocks right across the board. The expected announcement this afternoon going to be 0.5% to the upside. We're already kind of focused on what's going to happen in June as well. We'll talk about that coming up. But 99%, according to the CME Fed Funds tool, that will get a half-point interest rate hike this morning or this afternoon coming from the Fed. Earnings, meanwhile, a whole ton of them to get through this morning. Lyft, Uber going in opposite directions after their reports. Airbnb, a nice report as well. Decent beat for them. Nice forecast for Airbnb, so they are higher to start things off. S&P 500 still in correction territory, down 12.5%. From its highs going into this Fed announcement today. On Tuesday, as I mentioned, little change. The Dow 0.2, the S&P 0.48. The NASDAQ was higher on the session as well, 0.2%. Lots to discuss this morning. It's Wednesday, May 4th, 2022. TraderTV.live starts now. And there's a look at, positive board for the most part, right across the entire thing there. You can see the S&P leading, the Dow not bad, 0.34, about the same for the NASDAQ there. Big move for crude oil. We'll talk about oil stocks coming up here. 4.2%. It was more than 4.5% at one point. The EU talking about more ways they're going to look to ban the import of Russian crude. So another move to the upside here for crude oil. Bitcoin and Ethereum nicely positive to start the day off as well. Just seeing a note on Affirm, new relationship with Fiserv. So we'll talk about maybe Affirm here coming up as well. But hey, good morning, guys. Hope everything is well. It is Fed Day. It might be non-event, might be a little bit exciting this afternoon, depending on what the statement that comes with it says and what Fed Chair Powell says. But as I said, make sure you're here. 2 p.m. this afternoon. We'll bring it to you live. We'll also talk about some things moving around this morning, guys. But interesting day setting up here.
Yes, sir. And correction, Brennan, it is not.
I left it for you, Neil.
It's not Fed Day.
I left it for you.
May the 4th be with all of you. I will try to get in as many. Well, probably not because you guys will get tired of it.
I was trying to avoid that because it's so cheesy.
I'm gonna get involved in as many of those references as I can because I love Star Wars. It is what it is, and I'm always going to. But Lyft. We'll get to Lyft. Obviously, we're going to have to talk about it. And we were saying this yesterday. In earnings season, every single time there is somebody dropping 25%.
There's even more Tupperware, I thought, today.
Tupperware as well.
There's a few other names that are down pretty big,
But I mean, the real story, of course, and we'll be back for it at 2 o'clock when the Fed announcement comes. We know what we're going to get. We're going to get to 50 points. But last time when Uncle Jerome came at 2:30, that's when you got the bigger move. It was more like play the fade and the range, and then at 2:30, you usually establish a bit of direction. So hopefully we'll get some more of that. But there's so much to look at. There's a ton of earnings out this morning. A few that until I came in, I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. Moderna was there too. So it should be a busy one.
It's not May the 4th be with you today. It's May the Fed be with you today. Hopefully. I think they'll be with us, man. I think Jerome will come through. I mean, can they be more hawkish? We're about to find out today at 2 o'clock. I don't think so. We'll just see. It's going to be more about the press conference, I think, at 2:30. So, that's more the story to me. When people are going to ask about the balance sheet runoff, they're going to start asking, obviously, about future rate hikes and what they need to see in order to get that 75 points. Are we going to do 50 points again? The next hike, obviously, this one, as Brendan mentioned, is at that 99% rate now for 50 points. I mean, if it gets shocked any other way, then we're going to be in for quite the turbulent ride because I don't think they're going to go quarter. They would go 75. So anyways, that's not going to happen. I mean, there's a 1% chance, I guess, that happens. I'm looking at AMD. We got Facebook on our mind. I talked about Airbnb yesterday, that they most likely would guide higher. I thought they'd be up more than this, but still, we'll take the 5-6% and look to break through 156. But yeah, look, it's going to be a big day today. Lots of stuff on the sticky note one more time. Find it at Trader TV, Sean. And yeah, so many imposters right now on Twitter and Instagram. It's ridiculous. But thanks for reporting them all. Let's go over to Brendan at the big desk. And today we're going to watch Valeria trade a bit. So we'll see if she can make some money here on Fed Day.
Yeah, typically on a Fed day, a little bit quiet ahead of the announcement. Thankfully, though, we have a ton of earnings to get through this morning. The other side of the equation here, we get this ADP private payrolls number this morning at 8:15, I guess it was. That was lower than expected. Remember, the other side of the Fed's kind of duties is the employment market. So, yeah, that ADP number, a big miss. 247,000 versus 395,000 expected, ahead of the non-farm payrolls number coming up on Friday. So we'll see what comments Mr. Powell has to make about the state of the employment market as well. Before we go any further, let's bring in Ms. V. Good morning.
Good morning, team. It's going to be a busy day, and I wish you a lot of profitable trades. Please make sure you like this video, and let's get it started, Brandon.
Yeah, let's get right into things here. Lots to get through before we get to the open this morning. I want to start with Starbucks, another one that reported, guys. But I mean, I don't even know what to do with this at this point. It was the Chinese same-store sales number that was a big disappointment. Obviously, COVID affecting that, but otherwise a decent report for Starbucks. But I mean, this is another stock that, if you look at the daily chart, has just been crushed since the beginning of the year.
The thing about Starbucks, and look, it matters where you come from. Starbucks didn't actually have to do much to be up, right? Like given how badly it's gotten beaten down, but B, like you said, like the whole Chinese. The issue with the lockdowns in China and then having slowing growth and declines actually for them. And they got, but let's be real, like the numbers in the U.S. were great and fantastic. And I know they've got some labor issues that they're trying to resolve, obviously, but you just keep peeling it back and further, and you're like, oh goodness, it's been a train wreck since the beginning of the year, because it was right at the start of the year when it dropped off. But you're now getting into prices, like I think it was like 20 p that's now starting to trade at. So it starts to get relatively cheap. And if you start to factor in that, okay, well, everyone understands that it's going to take some time for things to get back to normal in China, and the market's forward-looking. This is one of those names where it might make sense to start buying it. And for the day trade today, you can obviously see the previous low that just got taken out last week. That 78.80 to 79 area, we're trying to hold above that. And that's the key line in the sand. If we can actually hold this range here, that 78, like I said, like 78.80, 79, you hold that, you can get to like this 80 to 82 range, which is pretty exciting. The market's not really showing a ton of signs of strength today. And a lot of times you get range bound on a Fed day, which I think we mentioned. So I kind of want to play this for a dip. I look at the bottom end of that range before and say, okay, well, things are still a bit depressed. If there's some people that want to take some profit when they got it, then I want to be buying a dip as opposed to trying to take any kind of a breakout in Starbucks. It just doesn't, this is one that I don't think I would want to be hitting, a breakout off the high of the day when it's up 7%. However, you get down around 77 and a half. That is the range I like buying in front of, because you've now taken out this upper channel, and hopefully that resistance turns into support.
Yeah, I mean, I like that 77 long. If you can get it, if it does turn into that, I don't think we go down there today, but we could. We don't know what this market's going to do off the open, but I don't think you want to play this either way. For me, it's on the sticky note here today, and I'm going to take this break right here, 81.50. So if we can get into this, area. And, we'll just look at a little bit of a higher time frame here. This can easily go up that 10, 15% today. I mean, they were so beat down. There's really nothing wrong with their business model. It's just, like we mentioned there, it's all about China and the worries. They're not going to guide forward anymore. So we don't have to worry about that. I think Starbucks eventually gets bought. They have new management. There's absolutely no problem. Not bought by anybody else, but just bought up. You got to go back to the 50 period, which is 84, 85. This quarter was good enough to do that. So to me, you get through a lot of this crap down here. And then as I mentioned here on the sticky note, if you want to go find that, you could maybe wait for 82 is maybe something, but I'm just going to wait for 81.50. So if 81.50 comes through, Starbucks long for me there. But, you know, if it drops to 77. So I don't want to play inside these ranges. Let's just wait to see what Starbucks does. And again, total revenue huge, man. 7.64 billion versus 6.6 the year before. So $1 billion more in revenue. I mean, that's fantastic there. They actually beat the analyst expectations. And then they rose 7%. In China, which I don't think they expected. They expected 7.1. So, you know, slightly lower in China, which I thought it would have been a lot lower. So that's not bad. 7 versus 7.1. So I like Starbucks. Congratulations. I think it's a nice move up 7%. There are more exciting names. It's done 300,000 shares, which is nice. We can't check the imbalances because it's NASDAQ. Those are going to come out at 9.25. But I like Starbucks for the long. So, I mean, I think you go there, you wait for the 77 if it dips back in, which is just, I mean, it's just kind of a random number, that 77. We can go on the 20-minute to show you where that is. Just right here, it's the highs from a few days ago. So that's that range. If you come back into here, you know, I think that's worth a buy, and then the 81.50. So I like Starbucks. I think it's going to be a good trade today.
Yeah, Howard Schultz back. Isn't it the third time, I think, for him to come back and save this company, hopefully? But nice relief for Starbucks. Here's a note on crude oil this morning, guys, from the EU. So I'll show you the chart in a second. But so they talked a little bit more about how they're working to implement some restrictions on importing of Russian oil. So that caused this move for crude. Started, what was it, about 3 a.m. our time, up to 107. That ADP number, though, surprisingly brought crude back to the downside a little bit. But all of the oil stocks, and I mean even the small caps on the move this morning. There's that INDO. There's a bunch of those little high-flying, crazy energy stocks back on the move this morning on this move for crude.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we know the story with some of those, right? Like a lot of times it's about the momentum. You're looking for, you know, a hopeful liquidity squeeze up, and they're known to do that. But just to note, like INDO, it's already right back to where not where it closed. It closed at $18, but it's already right back to where it broke out from. So, you know, I don't know if it'll be as long-lasting in some of these names. Like it went 19 to 21.5 and then back down to 19. I look at something like a Chevron, which just reported good numbers, and say, you know, why not? Whoops, that's still in the New York, Neil. Why not go to a name like that? And if you see, like, it's got a pretty solid level. I mean, the daily chart's pretty strong for all the big oil names, but on the 15, when you pull it back, you can see it's got this great level here, 165.50, which has been a bit of a double. Now I guess triple top here. You know, do I like a dip in the consolidation at 163? Yes, I'm on the bid there. But I like the breakout as well, which is pretty much looming. It's about 25 cents away, looking to get 165.50. And I just like the setup on Chevron here. It's a huge gap to be filled on any kind of strength. So that's one that you see an opening like this off a level like that, it's hard not to play it. On a failed break, if it gets below, you know, probably turns into a short if it reclaims like 164. But, you know, first things first, I like that long. Just be real careful with it's like IMPP is one of the other ones as well. INDO, IMPP, some of those low float names, they don't seem to have as much juice to them this time through. So I'll stick to the big names today.
Yeah, I was going to say, so my ZEO is still rocking, man. That's the XLE here. And on this, there's a lot of them. Bank of Montreal, equal weight, gas, and oil. That's been really rocking. But look what else is rocking here. We never, ever talk about this name, but Valero, wow. The oil refiner. I mean, this name is, forget about CVX and all this stuff. Valero, I mean, even XOM, like I was looking at this because I was looking at OIH, the oil holders. Look at Valero, like every day, like this was just April 25th. So what day is it today? Oh yeah, the 4th. $97 we were at. You're at 125 today in about a week and a half. So Valero up 30% right there in about, what is it? 7 or 8 trading days. So, wow, this name just continues to rock and roll. So, I think if you want to go long on something right now, Valero seems to be getting everybody's attention. Only a PE of 14, dividend of 3.5. Valero rocking right now to the upside. No volume yet, obviously. It doesn't do big volume in the pre-market. There's no real reason for it to do it, but I just want to bring everyone's attention to Valero. Absolutely a monster here. I think you could just punch long right off the open or any kind of dips on this name as they are going absolutely crazy. So, just a name I want to bring to everyone's attention. Really, really love that. And then this is not going to show anything because the volume's not that big, but this is the name that I'm in for all the Canadian fans out there. I bought it about 51, 52 bucks, and it's that ZEO. This is similar to, I don't know. Yeah, actually, Toronto charts don't load, I don't think, in the pre-market. But anyways, doesn't matter. If you want to look at the XLE quickly, because we're on that topic right now, it's basically the same thing as that. You can see where this is going. We did have a dip down last week, I believe, in the XLE here. You know, if this loads, but unfortunately here, Brendan, not loading up. But the XLE 80 bucks did dip down to about 72.50 last week. For some reason, I'm counting down 15 seconds here. But I like XLE. I think energy continues to work. Oil, Brendan, 106.
Yeah, big move this morning. I just saw Suncor as well to the upside this morning on a guidance raise. So we'll talk energy a little bit throughout the day as well. Before we go any further, let's bring in Luis Barbados from Barcelona, Spain, the Day Trade the World office in Barcelona, Spain. Good to have Luis with us, as always, to discuss what has been a pretty crazy earnings season, Luis, and also a pretty crazy month overall with inflation and a lot of headwinds. We missed you last week a little bit, though, but let's talk a little bit about what to expect going into the Fed, because on a Fed day, it's worth noting, typically you don't get the craziness and the volatility that we see ahead of 2 p.m. But how are you going to approach today?
Yes, you say we're going to be pretty quiet until the Fed comes. Maybe some action for the first 30, 40 minutes, and then it's going to be pretty much dead until the Fed decision. So try to take some nice trades on the open and then relax, wait for the Fed times.
Let's talk about some individual names here. Tell us about what you've been looking at this week a little bit, and then we'll get into today, because there are obviously tons of options for today. How has your week been to this point?
It's been a pretty good week in the small cap trading world. We have been like DTTX yesterday and the day before pretty active. OST as well yesterday, and Redbox. It's been active for a few days and active again today. It's moving a little bit down now, but there's nice volume and volatility so far today in Redbox. It's been a nice day, a nice week, as I say. Sound as well, SOUN. It's been active for the last couple of days. And so we have a nice day today in Redbox. We are looking RVSN, Real Vision, 4 million float, moving at 60% right now. It just broke $2. It's a very nice stock to trade. So it's going to be active today, Real Vision. And VWV, yesterday we saw crazy action yesterday, moving up very sharp. Today's gapping down, probably the first red day for the week in VWV.
Yeah, finally a little more excitement in small cap world. Let's focus on this RVSN, because I mean, teeny tiny little company, 20 million market cap, there's 10 million float. How are you going to look at that today? I mean, we are showing all kinds of strength, but I mean, it doesn't seem like there's any reason for this other than, you know, it might just be the pick of the day in small cap land.
Yeah, probably pick up the day, probably some hidden sympathies with some other company that we yet didn't find. But there is a lot of traders there. We were waiting for a break on 195. It just broke a couple of minutes ago. We will check if it keeps with volume in the opening. We're going to try to catch some gapping up and then probably bleeding in the afternoon, evening. Most of the people waiting for the Fed, so no volume coming in probably after. But it's definitely the peak of the day, Real Vision.
Yeah, 60%, huge volume coming into that right now. Let's go back to RDBX. Finally got that move to the downside a little bit yesterday, a little bit of follow through as we're seeing, as you said, this morning. Give us your levels here. I mean, 7 obviously standing out in the pre-market a little bit, but I mean, that fade off of 8 yesterday worked out pretty well also.
Yeah, pretty nice levels here. We're checking for, if it's popping up, moving above 750, we're looking for the 850 level. That's a key point where consolidations day before were there, a lot of volume. If you do the volume profile, 840, 850 should be a nice area to look. for today. It's a little bit down, but it's keep holding. I mean, the stock come from $4, so still in play, still not dead for the small caps. So I'm sure many traders are looking for these 840, 830 levels to volume come in again and test new highs, $10, $11, $12. No, it's a small cap. I think it's 11 million float with 10% short float. So take into account around 1 million shares short. So it's a number to be careful.
Louis, give us your take here on how to approach what is going to happen this afternoon at 2 p.m. For anyone maybe joining us for the first time, Louis has, 3 or maybe even 3 and change decades experience in the market and has been through an interest rate cycle where we are going to the upside. So when it comes to trading these very active, high volume, high volatility stocks, what do you do when we get to 2 p.m. this afternoon?
Yeah, first of all, don't be in a rush until that time comes. Be comfortable with the net you already have at this moment of the day, and then pull all the bids and offers, wait for the movements, see really where is the volume coming in, and be careful. I mean, sometimes we try to avoid a little bit these moments of the market because of the old environment. Not in a normal war, in normal years, these Fed decisions are okay to trade, wait for important levels. But in this environment with the war, with the COVID and everything, with the inflation, so it can go longer than expected every movement. So be really aware of your size, set up some stop losses for the trades. In this case, is very important in the Fed decisions. And just don't try to get too greedy with the movements. Be aware of your net and hold your emotions.
Wise words, for sure. Best of luck today. Luis Barbados from the Day Trade the World office in Barcelona, Spain. We appreciate your time as always.
Thank you very much, Brendan. Have a nice day.
Have a great day. Wise words, as I said, heading into the Fed today. I mean, it's one of those events, guys, if you haven't traded it before, if you haven't seen it before, it's worth just maybe watching today.
You know what? That's actually a good point, right? We've said this to traders before, on this floor. If you've never traded a Fed event, if you've never executed trades, whether it's futures or equities, there's nothing wrong with sitting it out, paper trading it. Pick something that you want to watch. Do you want to watch the Qs? Do you want to watch the NASDAQ, the ES, SPY? Do you want to watch TLT, Treasuries? Do you want to look at GDX? Pick one thing, have that up. Whether you want to trade it, paper trade it, go live, or just sit on your hands, it's worth it to get an experience. Worth mentioning here, I got a bunch of dip buys. We're already in AMD, but I got Moderna off of 151.5 in front of a 150. That came back and gave a buck. Airbnb picked me up on a pullback, and Uber. I don't know what's going on in that call or what went on in that call. I mean, whether it's over or not, I'm not really sure. But it just took out this monster level on the daily chart. Like, look at the daily. I mean, you go all the way, like 2020. Well, obviously, it's not the 2020 low, but it's relatively close to it. It was one of the support levels on the way back to the upside, but 28.25 just got taken out. So clearly, the call not going overly well there for Uber. You knew these two were going to be movers today, like Lyft and Uber going absolutely nuts.
Yeah, look, thanks, Louis, for that one. We were just talking about how we want to move into Barcelona. And I said, yeah, I'll probably retire someplace in Europe, don't know where, maybe back to the home country, which, of course, would be Canada for me. No, look, Louis, very, very obviously bright guy. We have a lot of experience between all of us here combined. And I think that we don't normally, and I'll speak to experience here on the floor. I mean, I don't really see anybody making too much money as soon as the interest rates drop. I mean, I think it's more about the reactionary, see if some key levels get hit. There's no point in punching in right away, like, oh my God, that was it. Because often you get that back and forth. It's called the whipsaw action. So you're going to see that. Join us at 2 o'clock and you'll see exactly, it's almost like, we'll be able to predict exactly the movement. I don't know which way it's going to go, but I'm going to tell you one thing. It's going to go one way, then come back, then go that way again, then come back. I think it's going to go like 3 or 4 times back and forth before it finally gets a footing, right? So again, the algos are going to read through the statement. Then we have Fed Chair Powell speaking at 2:30. So yeah, let's just stick with the sticky note. Let's stick with some of these upgrades and downgrades for now. I trade, honestly, the first 3 hours as if it's not Fed day. I don't think it matters. You're going to have to trade what you see in front of you, trade the earnings, trade the big moves, and then at 12 o'clock or so is when you kind of slow down and then wait for 2 p.m. There's lots of stuff to be done, man. AMD 1.3 million, 7 million shares coming through there. Lots of these names bumping around. Starbucks, Uber, Lyft, Airbnb. There's so many names. The banks. So there's lots of opportunity today. Let's just stay focused, stick with as if it wasn't the Fed day, and we'll deal with the Fed in the afternoon.
Yes, definitely. Good advice. Let's have a look at some analyst moves, guys. Interesting to the downside today. It's worth noting with earnings, as always, there's multiple analyst moves both directions. So take your pick. AMD, top of the list to the downside. Lyft is here, Biogen, and Coinbase as well to the downside from Mizuho there. WDC, big mover yesterday. Starbucks is here, and Airbnb as well.
Yeah, I mean, you can see there with KeyCorp, it's a 150 price target on AMD. So what usually happens is on the way down, they never made an adjustment this whole time.
Well,
So
the price targets are.
yeah, so it's like, it's one of those, like they were probably sitting at like 200 and are simply saying, okay, like calm down a little bit. Sometimes that's the thing you gotta consider there. Some of those other ones make sense. Obviously, like Coinbase, that can't get out of its own way. And it's still, I mean, it can't seem to break away from this 125. And anytime, there we go. It's the Zoom. I was looking at Uber from from 2019. That's why I was all the way back there. But it's been trying to bounce and just having an awful time doing so. And if this crests and makes another leg down, this market comes down and Coinbase is a stock destined for $100. For now, it's still trying to get above this channel. And I think every day in the last 4 or 5 that I call this up, I'm like, has to get through 130, has to get through 130. I don't know what catalyst gets it there, but you can see these bottom channels, when they break, they're there for you, those longs, because it's the beaten up names that tend to have the best rises when we catch a bounce, but they still have to get through these levels of resistance. In Coinbase's case, it's that 130 sitting there like a line in the sand. For this, it just cannot seem, no matter what, it just cannot seem to get past this level. It rejects it hard every single time.
Yeah, I mean, Coinbase, just follow Bitcoin. I mean, that's kind of how, Bitcoin right now, 39,000, it's bouncing around. That could be another asset class that makes a move there. Not could be, will be another asset class that makes a move there on the interest rate. So, there's a lot of names on there. We talked about that AMD. We have so much to get to. I love the upgrades and downgrades, but today, to me, it's going to be all about earnings. And right now, Uber shares now down 7% and moving lower. So watch out for your Uber longs.
I did check, guys. It was 8 a.m. So the call, that is, started at 8 a.m. for Uber. Robinhood Markets introducing stock lending. So that just came out as well. I just saw a hood pop up off of, wow, this is all the way back to $10. Hood unchanged at this point, though, so not exactly exciting. The other kind of interesting name this morning, OTLY, up on earnings, very talked about, very highly promoted IPO from last year. Oprah involved in that, a few other celebrities as well. They were talking about finally getting some manufacturing going in the right direction. Decent report for OTLY, but another one that's already come back.
Why?
What? It's already back to 30? No. It's crazy because it did have a big move this morning. Not that you can tell when you look at the daily chart, but yeah, already. Look, this is one that I wanted to fade today, and I don't think we'll get the chance because in order to fade something, it has to actually come up to a level that you can sell in front of. And it's pretty much back to the high of the day yesterday, which doesn't do much for us. If it gets back into it's like 390, what did I say in my, 390 to 405. So about that previous high to just above $4, like that's a target area that I'd want to be shorting in front of and just play it in the other direction. It's not very heavily shorted, by the way, Oatley. So it's not as much of a risk for squeeze. I think it was like 5%, something along those lines, but nothing crazy. When you see a chart like that, the first thing you want to do before you think about playing short is, hey, does this have a significant short interest? Because you don't want to get squeezed. I don't see that with Oatley. Doesn't seem like it wants to get back up to that $4 area for any kind of a short play. So might not get a trade on this today.
I mean, I've never even bought Oatley. I don't care about this company or anything, but people should be arrested and things like this. Look at these stocks, just straight to the downside. Who in the hell underwrote this stock? I mean, I feel like I've lost faith in all investment banking. I mean, this comes to market here, not even that long ago, May, a year this thing's been around, priced at 20, comes out to 30, and then now is down to $3. like this honestly, like, I don't know. I mean, this is something to do with Oprah as well or something. I don't know who's involved in this, but they should all just go to jail. That's my opinion on Oatly, Brendan.
Agreed. Yeah, that's a ugly, ugly chart. We're going to attempt to bring in Arun. We're having some technical issues, but we'll get Arun's take on the overall market, some thoughts maybe on what's to come this afternoon as well. The excitement, Arun, ahead at 2 p.m. today.
Excitement at 2 p.m. That's what everyone's been waiting for I guess, a week and a half now. And this market's kind of, doing the same thing. It's got its levels. It's kind of just floating around, waiting for this Fed to either reconfirm or even just, if everyone's expecting half point, sure. If the market can the Fed tends to give what it wants. It wants a half. Okay. What next is going to be the question. What are the projections going to be after that? Keep in mind, 2:30 is also going to be Q&A. That's going to be very important. So the levels, 42, I'm trying to get this in before we have issues with the computer. 42.10 is going to be the top end level. We got 41.20 downside. It's going to be the same levels as yesterday. Yesterday worked really well. We kind of range traded this. Anything above 42.70, looking for shorts against the 42.10 that's set up. And on the flip side, you got anything south of 40.
There it goes. I mean, we thought it was going to come, but hey, thanks, Arun. We'll get those levels, and we'll make sure that we get them in the chat and make sure everyone is aware. Maybe we'll try and get Arun back on before 2 p.m. this afternoon, but we thought it was coming. Anyways, let's talk about what else is moving around here in the pre-market. That is the link, guys, to the watch list. If you haven't done so already, sign up for that. All you need is an email address. Otherwise, absolutely free to you. Airbnb, top of the list this morning after a pretty good report right across the board, top and bottom line beat. Forecast was a beat as well. So decent look here for Airbnb, Sean.
Yeah, we talked about Airbnb yesterday and how much we like that name. And yeah, today it's rewarding you a little bit, but now it's came right back in. Now you're back down to that 150 area. It had a nice bump up there on the earnings, and I marked down 156, like thinking that there was a chance we could take that. But the NASDAQ, when we started this day, was up 0.4, 0.5%, and Airbnb, obviously a big tech name as well, as they're just basically an app, comes back in here to 150, and now you're at some of these levels where I think it's a buy. I mean, maybe you do come back down here to 146, and we look at that number one more time. But again, up 70% their bookings. We talked about that last year, 70% up. I mean, no surprise there, as COVID is king right now, and people are waiting to get back and moving around. And Airbnb, again, a lot of awesome opportunities to get in there and start to travel around. We've seen airlines hit it out of the park with some of their guidance and whatnot looking forward. Here's Airbnb guide forward. 2 billion, guys, versus 1.97. So 2.03 to 2.13 billion versus 1.97 billion. So it's a great guide forward. Some companies aren't guiding. They're choosing to just blow it out with that guide. But again, it's only up 3%. I don't know really what the Fed has much to do with Airbnb, but their PE is still relatively high. Like I said, they are a tech name, so we do expect this to get beat down a little bit. I'm not sure how exciting this is going to be today as we're in this range. That's why I thought this 156, which is up here, trying to break through a lot of this on the daily chart might give us a trade. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So right now, it back down to 150, and it's just sitting in the same range it's been in basically the whole year. I mean, sure, we went up to 190 there. Don't know what that was about. And then, you go to 190, then 2 weeks later, you're down to 130. And now we're just resting in between. So I was excited about Airbnb. I think we made a good call yesterday calling that it would be up. We also talked about swinging long AMD. So, both of those trades are gonna work out. Not as much as I thought. I thought Airbnb would be a little bit higher than that. But yeah, we're just in a range. That bottom was made there yesterday. And again, I stopped my charts at 430. So, but that 149 area right there could be something. I would look on this dip back down, look to say maybe support in here, 145, 146. So, yeah, it looks like we're going to probably test down there on the imbalance locator. This is a NASDAQ name, but let's just get that to you real quick because some of you are asking for it. Nothing right now. So absolutely nothing on the imbalance locator so far. I don't even know what DM is. Bank of America's on there, AT&T, but not much. XOM there for you oil junkies. But yeah, Airbnb, I was excited. I thought we had a chance to take out this 156. I would rather see it chilling out here, 152, 153. If we can get to that number, then we'll look at 156. But I don't like this name until we punch through the top and we get some confirmation from others that this is a name that people want to own, because right now just seems to be in no man's land.
It's yucky price action. I was in it briefly, but there's only two levels to look at. It was either that aftermarket 150 area, which kind of came and went really quickly, or it's all the way down to those previous levels. It just cannot seem to break out. And the thing about when you're priced the way that they are is, you need that growth. You definitely need to have that growth, and you have to have that blowout to even get to this type of evaluation, let alone go up, especially in this environment. So, sometimes these more expensive relative names need to have even better earnings than this, or maybe they need to wait around till the Fed. We'll see what happens. But I did want to update quickly because we were talking in the chat and sort of earlier in the chat about some levels and some stocks that we're looking at. Moderna was one of them in front of 150. But a lot of times when it's good positive news for Moderna, I'm usually playing a rollover, but I just love this 150 area stepping in front of it. You can sort of see on the daily chart, it's trying to break out past the 50 period, which is 156. That's important. And then you look on the 15, and you essentially gapped above this resistance area. And when you gap above it, the only thing left to do, and it's a 150 to about 152. The previous high is exactly at 151 where we got the long. When you gap above it, sometimes the dip buy is pretty much the only way you're going to get that price. However, remember 156. 156 on the daily, that 50 period. When you broke down, it accelerated to the downside and put you in this channel here from that 151 into the 154. So that long's already happened. In, out, grabbed it. I know I said in the chat, that's the long I was looking for, but realistically, it's pretty much already come in, and now 156 becomes resistance. So I'd want to be out in front of it. Whether or not I fade Moderna off 56 remains to be seen at the open. I'd need to see it fail that level, bounce up, fail to break it at the open, and then try to short it. But there's so many names to look at today. You want to make sure you have a plan of action around these key price areas, Brendan.
Nice forecast for Moderna on the COVID vaccine side of things. So another one to look at. Let's go to Uber. Yeah, something definitely happened on the call there for Uber back to the downside now after it tried to go red to green initially in the pre-market there. We got up to 30. Quite the rollover, though, back to 26.5.
Oh, goodness. And this is the thing about these earnings calls. It's why I love it when earnings are aftermarket as opposed to pre-market. Let's be real, because then you get to digest it, then you get to watch the trading action where liquidity picks up or where it doesn't, and then trade off of that. But when you get these calls at pre-market, or sometimes they even happen during the morning, you got to be really careful. And we've already taken out this 28.25 level. This is when I was trying to zoom really far back for you to be able to see. We've already taken out this 28.25 level. That's here. It was like a quadruple bottom on this thing going all the way back to 2020. And then the next level, we're pretty much at it right now. 26.40. We just bounced off of that as well. So, it gets back up to the 28.25, and there's probably nothing to do but fade it from here. Overall, like Lyft, the dwindling ridership, that's never a good sign. Both these companies have had trouble actually making money. Jesus. Forget about the actual net loss, because a lot of that's the DD thing. You're concerned about the fact that it's, and I should say it's more Lyft than Uber, because Lyft specifically said they got to pay more for incentives, and Uber had said they don't, which is probably why Lyft is down 20-something% and Uber is down 8%. But either way, making money has been a problem for this business. It's not about whether or not we think the service is good and whether it's going to be there in 5 years. It's can they make money until you have automated driving. The other thing Uber has over Lyft, of course, is they did beat expectations across the board with freight and with the delivery, and those are probably the kinds of things. And of course, then not having to pay more for incentives. Those are the kind of things that have led them to be stronger today than Lyft. All of that being said, Lyft is down so far. Every time a stock has been down 25%, there's been a dead cat bounce. I feel like in the last week. So oddly enough, if we don't break the low on Lyft, I'd say you go long off of that low. And now that 28.25 in the daily chart's been broken, it turns into resistance on any kind of a pop for Uber. It's not SSR just yet, but we've seen this story before. Just because it's ugly doesn't mean it can't get uglier. And then when a stock is ridiculously down, like a Lyft is, it doesn't mean there isn't a buy. It's just a momentum play at that point. Whether it was Chegg, What else did, like Robinhood did it, and I'm probably forgetting a couple down that 25 to 40% range in a single day, and a lot of times they do catch a bounce. So, lift, if it doesn't break the low, it's a long.
Yeah. If it doesn't break the low, it's long. Yeah.
I don't know if you get that price, so that's the problem.
So I'm here. It's on the sticky note right now. I just put it in the super chat in the chat there. Yeah, I have lift right here, and I talked about the nice level from October 20. I didn't think October 2020. I didn't think we'd get there, but obviously on Uber tank or making the move down, I guess it's kind of a tank. Right now, Lyft also tanked today. So I'm looking at that 22 level, and if you're wondering how good it looks, it's right here. So yeah, let's see what happens. I'm already bidding in front of here. We'll give it a little bit lower. Maybe that very bottom is 2150. Don't want to hold it that far, but I'll hold it close to that anyways. So let's just wait to see what happens. I'm sitting on the bid, waiting to get long on Lyft. And Uber, I probably won't trade that. This is not a company where people need to get jailed or anything like that. But, you're down to that 26 mark on Uber. I mean, I'm going to get ready to get long Lyft very, very soon here. It looks like 22. I mean, I'm sitting at 22 and a quarter. So that could fill soon here, especially on that move down. And so that was the daily chart there for Lyft. I don't know if you're going to get a bounce off of this or not. I'm just trying to play that level like Neil was saying at 22. So that's what I'm going to do. We're going to sit there, get the long. Normally I'd buy it right now, but honestly, I think we test that 22. So that's going to have to be a go-to spot there. Then Uber, I was listening to Neil. I don't think there's much else to say here other than you're going to watch out for that 26 bottom again coming through. So, we hit 26 yesterday on a 3-minute chart. This is a 1-minute chart here. So you're going to see if it zooms out. I don't have it yesterday afternoon, but 26 was the bottom there. Uber, I like the name, but I don't really like the stock. Like Neil said, I think people continue to take Ubers and they'll be fine. But hey, you can't make money in this environment. This is like one of the better environments for Uber right now, especially with a lot of people not wanting to take mass transit. So let's just wait to see. I mean, I think that a lot of these quarters are kind of like kitchen sink. So, let's see if they can get it going. I still like Uber Freight to see if that can come through. But wow, glad I haven't been an investor in Uber yet. But I like the business. I'm a user of their product. But honestly, man, this name just keeps on falling.
It might be the worst. It's not the worst IPO ever. But I heard somebody say this. I'm not sure if it's true. But I don't know if an IPO in the last 10 to 15 years has actually, as a company, lost more money. Oh. They might actually hold the record.
But they came to market horribly
so
negative.
late. Well, it's horribly
no, but
negative.
they were already losing $6 billion.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Nobody's actually lost more money since they've gone public, I don't think, than Uber. And that's the problem. It's like everybody loves the company, but if you don't, it's like Twitter. If you don't figure it out.
They haven't been able to monetize.
Yeah, you just got to figure it out.
All right, bit of an uptick here, guys, for Moderna currently, 5.5%. The CEO on their earnings call also happening right now, saying they are expecting a possible government order for more boosters in the fall. So heads up, if you're watching Moderna, the call on right now. Let's go to, I wanted to mention this as well. We were talking about Uber's call. If we could throw that up there, Fahad, quickly. That was one of the comments that came from the conference call. So gaining share versus the competition isn't a priority for us at the moment. So that came out of the conference call. Heads up on Uber, as we said, back to the downside. AMD, on the other hand, forecast, huge for AMD. Good report for them as well, guys.
Yeah, look, I mean, AMD monster. We talked about them. I've loved AMD, obviously, from time. I mean, I first started buying this thing in the 20s, then we loaded up in the 50s, then we loaded up again $75. And now you're getting a break. Well, now it's starting to move around a little bit. We still have another 20 minutes till we'll see these imbalances. Okay, here it comes. Okay, just as we're talking about it here, AMD starting to fall back in right now. So some of the levels that I wanted to look at here was or could be coming into play right now, 94, 95. Now, there's still a little ways away to come into there. But if you look down here, we had some bases here between 94 and 95 where we danced a little bit when the earnings did come out here for AMD. And then again, if you go back and you're saying, I mean, now you're down to 96.70. I still don't think this is a buy yet. I want to let the market open up here on AMD. As you can see, I get carried away with using too many shares all the time. Where's my, in the pre-market, where's my 20-minute? Oh, my 20-minute closed on me. Is that true? 1 minute, 1 minute. Yeah, it did. So, but I wanted to go over, let me just see if I can zoom back out here. It's this, actually, this looks fine right here. This 92. So yesterday, you guys know we called 92 bucks. We were long yesterday, 89. AMD was one of my better stocks to trade yesterday. We hit this long. We reloaded it numerous times, had this long all day yesterday. Now, the point about it is, right here, 92. If we're going to fall back down, I think this is an area where you really load it up. I mean, their report, Brendan just went over some of the numbers there. They're absolutely fantastic, to be honest with you. Guide forward. Beautiful, man. 113 a share they got. They expected 91 cents. No problem. Full year forecast, 26.3 billion, up 60%, ahead by over $1 billion ahead of what the street expected. So I like this name. I think we're going to start to buy it in here, 95, 94. We'll see if it drops 94. We'll get out, take that $2 or $3 hit. Well, no, it won't be $2 or $3. $1 to $2 hit in this area if it breaks 94, and then get ready for quite a trade to be put on here if we come back into 92. So that's sort of my vision here. You're already up 6%. I feel like we've just come from, I feel like we have just come from an 85 bottom. So if you were buying some 85s, you come in day before Fed, you're long 85. This name is up 7%. You know, might be profit-taking time for AMD. So I'm looking at that, and once I get the 20-minute, I'll talk more about it, but also watching a $100 fade as well. So if you get to 100, you could fade that for the short. AMD, 1.8 million shares and bouncing around. I'm long on this name, but not until 94, 95. But hey, you know, after the first 10 minutes of this market opens, your boy will be in this name, I promise you, and I just want to see the levels off the open.
Yeah, there was also a 27 break, which I already took. It double topped at 98, and 99 would have been the high end there. And this is the range we're looking at here. So as long as it validates this 96 level, that's the only price I'll buy in the dip. Once that breaks out, I'm sitting on the bid. And you can see the range here. Obviously, we talked about 91.50 to 92, resistance turning into support, and then buy the dip in front of it. Until we break 96, you're not really in that mode just yet. It still has a chance to recover. And wow, I had just finished saying 156 on Moderna, and then I'm not sure. I was like, I'm not sure if I want to short it at 156. Well, whatever is going on in that call, that just came right back in. I'm not going long here again. You are in that downtrend. You are rejecting the 50 period. So I would not go a double dip at that price range. Like, this is not the time of day where if you had a level and it already gave it to you once, where you want to double down 10 minutes before the open. So I'll have to sit Moderna out. If it can settle at that price, it's had support there before. And AMD, if it holds 96, great. Then we're on that run to 99 and maybe even 100. Otherwise, if it breaks that level, I'm out, and it's two separate longs. I don't want to average into this one. If it breaks 96, it's got to be out. And then understand that there's levels a lot deeper down to be buying. On the other end of the coin, only because we're not likely to talk about it otherwise, if you watch NVIDIA, it just got below this $200 range. And it's just sort of sitting here barcoding. And on the daily chart, have a quick look at what 201 looks like on NVIDIA. It has been all kinds of resistance on 201 on NVIDIA. And if we head to the downside on AMD, I mean, sure, with a 201 stop on NVIDIA, probably a little bit more appealing than taking AMD. And it goes both ways. If AMD takes out the top, NVIDIA's 201 almost looks as good. Just look at that roof that it has on it, and so much room to the upside. But, you know, like we said, if we come down and don't hold 96, it's not going to matter. Miss V?
Hey guys, I would love to say thank you to Dominic Famulara for your super chat. We will definitely cover RSVN as it's on our watch list. And guys, I remind you to like this video. It's just 10 minutes left until we open. Gonna be exciting day. Smash the like button and let's continue with Brandon.
All right, quick note on Ford, and then we'll get to oil here. Ford just out with April sales numbers in the U.S. A bit of a dip for them. There wasn't much reaction from the stock, but heads up on Ford. Oil, as we spoke of earlier, back to the downside a little bit here with the overall market. It was up 4.5%, now about 3-ish, but all of these stocks coming in.
Yeah, oil rocking right now. Here's the oil chart for you guys here. This is just a 1 minute chart, but oil's been really, trading quite well up here north of $100. I mean, it's held it out pretty good. If we look at let's just look at a 10-minute chart here for oil. So here's the move. Well, my timing's going to be all off on this one. But, we've ticked up here before. So this is the areas that we want to look at here, 107, 108. So we're coming into some of these prices. And this is what I mean by we've been held, this 100 over the last week pretty good. The bottom's basically been 100. So you can go all the way back to, again, that April 25th day where we broke above it. And then we've just been dipped down, held, dipped down, held, dipped down, held again. So, again, that's like an 8% move in one day, right? 108 down to 100. So, now we're kind of bumping up a little bit more here. I think oil just continues to work. I like the environment that we're in here for oil. I mean, I don't know if gold's going to work here, but just another asset class that continues to be hot. And I don't think you ignore it. We've talked about Valero. I think that's a buy. I think XLE is a buy right now. The energy story has been great all year. Like I said, I've been late. I mean, I'm not late to the party. I have a lot of oil names and resource names, but late to the party on the XLE. And I just think that continues to work as well to the upside. So that's now breaking 80. We'll wait to see. I mean, look at XLE just in the last couple of days here. You go back yesterday, bottoms, $74. Today you're back up to 80. That's not yesterday, that's 2 days ago. So it's a nice move here for XLE. I still think you stay with the winners. No point in trimming unless you have somewhere better to put your money. And right now I like oil. I think it's one of the best spaces to be in, not just oil, but energy, in general here. Heading into summer months, you have a lot of travel, gas prices, so on and so forth. So I say you stick with oil long. I don't know if you push more money into it right now, but I would stay here. Let's see what happens again at 2 o'clock. Oil probably bounces around a little bit off that. There still is the overhang, obviously, with Russia and Ukraine. There's probably about $10 built into that price, or maybe a little bit more even into there for when and if Russia ever comes back online. So, oil still continues to work. I don't think you get out of that until you hear something's changed. With the conflict. So I'm long oil.
Yeah, the only trade I got today for oil was CVX looked really good, 165.50, and that's just the one level that looked good for a break. It's a double on the 15-minute chart. You get back on the 22nd here, and then today pre-market highs. You break out of this channel and there's room to the upside. I just preferred that from something like an Oxy, which I would normally trade. It's not nearly as clean or has as much upside room. And you could look at a 61 break here. It didn't have the double confirmation. Like, you're already through this comparative level down at 60, whereas Chevron, you actually have a chance to break out. But that's just for the day trade. I think either one of them can work for you on the day trade. Just remember, you do have to watch oil futures when you choose to trade those. So you want to make sure you have that contract up there. You can't trade it blind. It's like you don't want to trade a momentum stock without looking at the S&P or the NASDAQ.
So there was a little bit of a late reaction there to that number for Ford back in negative territory, guys, back to 1450. Let's go to Starbucks quickly. A few people talking about Starbucks this morning. Is there a trade here, guys? Decent report, obviously, on the U.S. side. China remains a question mark, but what do we do with S-Bucks today?
I probably, where I would want to buy it, probably not get anything unless something crazy happens. It was at 74, so it would still be up if it comes to 77. The crazier things have happened, but that's the channel I want to get into. You can step up to 78, but this is the area that I'm looking for. It's in front of previous resistance, and it's in that previous channel that I want to be buying it. It wasn't all, the case to be made for them is that simply everything is being baked into China, and the rest of the numbers are fantastic, and they're making some progress when it comes to labor issues. And this 7%, really in the grand scheme of things, it isn't really much of anything when you consider how much the stock has come down. However, it hasn't broken out of the bottom of this channel. It hasn't broken the top of this channel, and I look at that previous bottom as still putting up a bit of a fight. So I'd rather go long in front of that. Whether we get that periphery, we'll have to see. There's plenty of names that are trading actively enough that I think we're going to be into a few things at the open. We've already had a couple of positions, so I don't want to force the issue necessarily on Starbucks.
No, same way. I mean, I want Starbucks to either come in to that 77 or take out this 81.50 right here. So we either take out 81.50 and I go long because we're breaking out. I think it was a great quarter for Starbucks. I think the strength is still there. I like the business. I like the company. I don't think there's anything wrong with how they're operating. We've talked about their management changes back and forth and back again. So we'll just wait to see here. But yeah, look, China. only 7% growth. They're expecting 7.1, so it's not so bad there for China. So I'm looking at that 81.50, but we got to take it out, right? Like, I think this was just a bunch of garbage right there, but take out 81.50 and then you climb back. I think Starbucks is a long, and if you want to buy something now, I don't mind this name. Let me just check what the PE is before I say, like, this is a screaming buy. I don't think it is a screaming buy by any stretch of the imagination. But PE is around 20, which historically is obviously going to be low for Starbucks. And if you just look at it here, you know, these bottoms probably get respected. I mean, obviously in COVID, they were shutting down everything. No one was going out. That made a lot of sense. Why Starbucks, they're not really a delivery business, so staying at home got hit. They get hit with a lot of people not going back to work. Everyone loves their Starbucks, right? They pump it every single morning. People say, oh, got to go get my coffee. So, you know, as more and more workers return, I think Starbucks has been beat down again. And I think if you look back in 6 months, you're going to regret not picking this name up. Beautiful bottoms here, $75. I'm talking myself into Starbucks, so I'll probably put this back on my watch. I first started buying this thing sub $50. I'm out of it now. I might hold a small piece. I hold a lot of names, but I like Starbucks here. I think it's a buy.
All right, let's talk about RVSN. Lots of people looking at this one this morning, back to the upside. A couple of things to note. 20 million market cap, 10 million float, first of all. A ton of support on the daily chart, around $2, which we are above. This is 180, this is $2. So we'll try the long to the upside versus 180 and 2. There's not much until you get through 275, 280 on the upside, and then sky's the limit. Teeny tiny little one, guys, RVSN.
Yeah, watch out for those floaters, man. That's a whole candidate, obviously. Anytime it's a float that small, I think that goes without saying. Lift is getting pretty close. We're now in the 5-minute window to the open, right? So, you know, there is one other way that lift can be a long. And I should have said, I always say, like, if it doesn't break the low, then it's a long. However, remember, there's such thing as a failed break. So it could take out 22, get to like 21.90 or something like that, and immediately reclaim the level, put in a failed break, and then you're into that long. So just a bit of a clarification there. We've seen that setup before. It's the same thing as going short off a fade. Keep in mind, like this was in the context of Uber being down only 8%, and I say only because Lyft is down 28. I think that's what makes it a decent shot. Everything that's fallen this far usually has had a bit of a dead cat bounce, although with 4 minutes to go, I can't remember the last one that was actually testing the low at this time. Worth noting, Tesla is at that 900 or close enough to that 900 level to warrant our attention. AMD's trying to take out the top again, but if you're in this, it has rejected 98 3 times. So taking profit in front of 98 is not crazy if you've got a 97 long. I'm now holding out for 99 because we've already scalped it.
I mean, we're doing it again. There's that lift buy that we made at 22.25. We talked about that. Now we're already out here of a quarter of it right there. Look what we get, man. We get that 25 bid. Then we get an offer at 38. Then we get an offer at 45. So, yeah, man, we're cruising right now, already doing damage in this market. Let's just wait to see where Lyft goes from here. But there's that buy that we talked about. It's on the sticky note. There it is right there in the money already. 20. Well, we'll see if it's going to go 20 penny. I got a 20 penny fill, but we'll see if we get it again here. Nice little trade for Lyft on the upside. We're not going to take this one too far. We've already talked about some of our, I'm already sitting, actually I'm not sitting anywhere else. Maybe I should sit somewhere else here to take a little bit more profit on this name as, I don't know if we get a bounce or not, but let's put another offer here around 47 or so. See if we can get that offer to go to the upside. But right now, 1 for 1 so far. But remember, we're not going to give it too far past that 22 break. So you got to watch out for that name. I think it's going to come in pretty strong here off the open. So happy to get the profit, but that's why we are out of a quarter. 25% out right now for a decent trade. Like, I put on a decent amount of shares there. It's only a $22 name. So yeah, I will scalp that out right now. So that's a good one so far. And then I wanted to look at something else. Oh, AMD, you've already talked about that. We'll look at that off the open. Oh, it was the imbalances. So here we go.
RVSN just took the high again.
Oh, man, that RVSN. Just quickly here on the NASDAQ, nothing of certainty here. AMD, I guess, is the name that we like to look at right now. Obviously, Neil's in that. I'm going to get in that name as well. Small bid there, 150,000, so that's not doing anything right now. And we're just going to have to watch. There's Lyft right back to the level that I'm in at. Yeah, so I was hoping to see Lyft on here, but I don't. So right now, we're just going to have to trade this and see where we go from here. Lyft right now bouncing around.
Yeah, there goes AMD. It just got up to, at 98.50. You just, come on, don't look a gift horse in the mouth, Neil. Yeah, it went to 98.50, and I'm trying to get the turn here in the high 30s, see if I can pick some out there. Just before the open, you want to make sure you lock in some profits. And I got to hit that key because, oh my God, 47, 8 and 8, John Morant. That kid is an absolute monster. So hopefully AMD can put in a day that closely. Don't even try to trash talk Ja. Ja is a beast, Prad. What are you? Prad is complaining about a guy almost putting up 50 in a triple-double. But anyways, we have about a minute to go here. The market just bounced a little bit, and I'm not sure. I saw the NASDAQ with a slight bounce, and then Tesla actually took out the low. So I'm not sure what's actually going on specifically with Tesla. Everything I saw just made a bump, with the exception of Tesla. Not sure what's up with that.
Yeah, we only have a minute to go right now. I want to check to see what Starbucks was doing right now. Not doing much, man. 79.40. So we'll see. We want to make sure that we watch that name. Also, I know AMD's ripping right now, which is fine. That's what we expect to happen. But right now, we are looking to see if we can test one more time. Yesterday, Facebook, and Fahad knows about this because I talked to him about it. Yesterday we had to take it out. That's not yesterday. This is yesterday right here. When we dipped down into this 208 area, we had 209 marked down. Today we're going to use 208 as our bottom. So if it does come back in, we'll get long in here on Facebook. We're already sitting here. So if Facebook comes into this 208.60 area, we will test that long right there for Facebook. So that's really what I'm looking at right now, and an AMD dip buy. But right now that's at 98 already. So if that gets to 95, we'll be a buyer. But I don't think that happens yet.
But we'll see with Uber, because Uber trying to make a bit of a bounce back here. I'm trying to short it in front of that 28.25 level. Miss V is on the bell. She's in the green. We might be sideways until the Fed, but let's see if we can't hold green territory, at least for the open. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Ring it.
Okay, we are opened, and yeah, so far so good here. We're just going to watch a lot of these trades go through here. Hopefully AMD can make a move back. We're going to talk about that. Facebook's rocking right now, but so far this is what we expected from the market. The NASDAQ's kind of just cruising right now. No major moves yet on anything. I mean, I'm only into lift, but we are going to watch AMD as that's coming back in right now.
Yeah, here we go. That 22 starting to come into play here. So the first thing to watch, if it holds 22, great. If it breaks 22 but cannot sustain through like 21.90, then I think the long is still valid. I don't want to be jumping the gun here. Let's see what happens. It tries to get down. So it broke 22, just held 21.90. If it gets back above 21 here, it might be an add and then sort of a stop still at that 90 price. We'll see if it can get above 22 here, guys. It has to recover through 22. There's your jailbreak back above. So, whoops. Oh, give me a break. Come on. You got to be kidding me. Oh, I went to price.
Yeah, I tried to get more long there.
I went to price a limit order when I was changing it and just missed the long. Anyways, I don't want to pay up too far there, but let's see what happens with lift. It did make that jailbreak downside. It did hold 21.90, but the NASDAQ is absolutely, you're right, the NASDAQ is absolutely tanking. It was weird, man. Everything was bouncing and Tesla went down, and now, of course, we're getting the NASDAQ tanking.
Oh, man, I liked that Apple. I liked Apple. Yeah, Apple's still making moves up, so we just got longer on lift as well. Let's see if that can work out here. Yeah, Apple, I wanted to look at that 160.50 area here for Apple, but it's a nice move down in the NASDAQ, and Apple is actually holding out right now. So we may have to watch this 159.25 bottom here on Apple. There it goes. Apple with a nice move back upside. So NASDAQ coming in, but Apple going upside. So let's try to get some longs on Apple if it does tank in. This is going to be a name here relatively strong against this market. So yeah, we're just in lift. It's not doing anything. It's bouncing around, but that's the name that we'll have to watch here as now it's sub 22, bouncing around $22. Watch out here. If it goes lower than like 21.80, we're going to get out of this one. For us, lift right now, we are invested into this name. Only first trade on.
Yeah, I just got first short of the day. Well, I mean, it's the first one. We'll see if it won't be the last. Moderna goes through 150. This is going to kill me because I talked about 150 obviously was a big level, but 156 when that call came on, you're going to see what happens when it gets through it. It just absolutely ran away from it. Now we got the short. $6 lower, unfortunately, but that's what happens to you sometimes. And you don't get that first fill, you get the second one. I'm going to give this one back to that 151, 152. I didn't get a short on Uber. Lyft, by the way, took out that 21.90, so that trade's now gone and validated. It hit the stop. We take it out. It did set up the first time for what we were looking for, but give me a break. This is what happened. I'm at 27.85. I just canceled the order because I'm not going to get it. And Uber went to 27.76 and then faded. So I tried to get that little pop there on Uber. I did miss out on it. It's pretty unfortunate. Got Moderna. AMD's trying to get back. Towards that 96 area. If it holds 96, it's still valid. If it breaks 96, the dip is much, much lower than this. And remember we talked about NVIDIA 200? NVIDIA 200, 199.95. 199.95 it goes to at the open, and then barcodes, and then falls $3. But Lyft was something that we're going to look at the open no matter what, and that's part of the thing. If you're watching Lyft on that break, it's a huge level. You might miss something else.
All right. Yeah, no, for sure. Wow, here goes AMD tanking right now to the downside. Airbnb does go up, man. It went to 155. I'm going to take a 154 break if that happens again. We just got in and out of Apple. We still have some shares on board, though. We took a 160 in, and then we got some out there at 160.30. So right now we're going to watch out for that name. Hopefully Apple can climb upside a little bit. I like that play there as well. AMD's getting down to some of the levels that I liked with 95-ish, but we may have to be a little more careful with that. I said that there'd be profit taking on this name, right? So a nice little bump up, everybody getting excited about the long. Now you're tanking back back in right now, 96. I'm still waiting at that 95 area, see if we can pick something up there. I'm going to give this to 2150 here. Lyft is getting killed to the downside right now. I don't know where there's going to be any sort of a relief rally. We were able to get something out early on Lyft. If it takes 22, we'll go longer again. Thank you, Ms. V, for the reload there on the coffee. But yeah, so right now, Apple trying to get back in. I'm trying to go long Apple 75 or so. This NASDAQ is coming in. I'm going to see about respecting 159. So that's going to be the play here on Apple. If it does come back in, we are looking for that one. Airbnb, we talked about that. AMD's to the downside. Uber's 2650 right now.
Uber.
But yeah, Apple's really the name that I'm looking at. I got to get longer on this one. What's up, Brendo?
Negative note on Netflix, guys. Apparently a lawsuit filed stating that they misled investors ahead of subscriber drop number that came out in the last earnings report. So big flush there for Netflix.
So for now, AMD's holding that 96. Remember we said it's still valid if we hold 96 even. So we got the dip in front of 96. Just grab some out at 96.80 because got to be able to take some kind of profit. That's crazy. By the way, remember I said Tesla was dropping? Oh, give me a break. Tesla did fall, it bounces to 901, and then is now trying to rip back up. But the way this market is going, sorry to say it, Tesla, it just failed 907. 907 to 910 was a level before. And if we fail at 910, I got to roll into a short here on Tesla. The market is trying to bounce. The NASDAQ it's still slightly red and basically flat. But remember, you get whipsaw action on the Fed and sometimes don't break out of the range. And if you decide to play inside of the range, sometimes that can work to your advantage. So first look here on Tesla. Is going to be to the short side. There's always a chance it breaks out. Did I get it 908 there? No, not yet. There we go. Just got that 908. If we do take out the top at 910, then we got to give up the ghost on Tesla here, but I think it could be worth it for the scalp trade. It's been a good one for me, Tesla, but you definitely don't want to overtrade it. See it, do it is got to be the way to go.
Oh, shit. Yeah, right now it's a good one. Let's go. We are rocking right now. Let's go, Apple. Let's go, Airbnb. Big time trading happening right now. $1.50 in the money on Airbnb as we start to rip higher, man. We took profits at 50, then we took profits at evens, and now you're rocking. Let's go to that 156 and make dreams come true one more time here on Airbnb. So, yeah, maybe Airbnb just got cheaper. Maybe my vacation now is going to be a lot less money for me because there's 156. Let's take out another piece, man. Bang right there for Airbnb, man. Yeah, we're getting jacked up one more time, so we'll go WTF as Airbnb takes off. See you later, man. We gave you this 154 call. How about $3 in the money right now for Airbnb? And that's a rip city right now. Check out what's happening on Apple. We are overloaded on Apple right now as well. We talked about buying that one. Man, this is a good day one more time, man. Stupid Lyft. Everything else is working out for us. Apple, ripper. $1 now in the money on Apple with decent shares, man. 1, 2, 3. I told you we liked Apple long. We told you we liked Airbnb long. Now up to 157.50 it just touched. Man, this is a good one. Good morning so far, man. I mean, if we weren't doing this, I may not take too many big trades now. These are some good ones, man. 2 for 2, and then Lyft. We'll worry about that in a minute.
Yeah, Lyft sucks. To me, it's more the opportunity cost in Lyft. I don't care about, if a trade sets up and you take it and it loses, who cares? It really doesn't matter. That's cost of doing business. It's same thing Tesla 910. It breaks. That's fine. We're going to get back into Moderna. It just rolled over. I didn't get 156, obviously. We didn't want to take that one before pre-market opened up. Sorry, before the market opened up. Now we're really starting to tank. We're at 147. I want to put a 145 target on the last. So I'm going to get some more shares out at 147 here and take $4 and then see if we can't get 7 on the last of these shares on Moderna. Brendan, what's up, bud?
Newegg popped up late in the day yesterday, if you remember, with AMC and GME starting to go again here through $7 there on a volume alert. I remember this happened yesterday for NEG, guys.
Yep. Okay, 156, 157. I mean, I'm still thinking about reloading this Apple trade, man. I still like that trade. AMD is going to be a good one if it can get back in. Right now, I was looking to find some areas for Apple. And again, you notice like I'm on Apple and not on Airbnb. I mean, I just don't need to be on AMD. It's not at some of the levels yet for me. So we're just going to trade stock that we find is strong. I mean, this is a 160.50 we just got right there, man. We're long at 159.75, so it's a big trade for me right there. Lyft takes out that 21.50. Like, this name is done right now. It's embarrassing how much we lost on that. Well, not how much we lost, but just that it never really got going for us. We took it early, it faded. That's that. Apple, again, like, why did you just fail at that 160.50? These were back-to-back levels that we were talking about there on the 160.50. It comes into play right there from a previous high. So we just took another piece out there as we came back up into the 29 area. So Apple right now has that 160.50 peg. If we could take that down, then that'll be a pretty good trade there for me. Let's just check in on Facebook. 208 trying to come into play here. I'm just checking my sticky note. These are all on the sticky note, like every single one of these plays. The Airbnb long, the Lyft long, and now we're going to look long on Facebook. We do have that now, 209.25. So we have some shares here on Facebook long. We might as well take a little piece out, but that's so far so good there. Now it just comes right back in. Let's see about getting something out in the 40s, and there it is right there already. Let's go Facebook with another big winner here for me. Let's go.
AMD just broke that 95 level, 96 level, okay, I should say. So it might start to come in. Like, the market's still going down. It would take a lot for it to get back into that 93, 94. The breakout worked. It was definitely a positive trade. But once it gives this ghost up, it's not about averaging into it. It could reestablish the level. Like, you could maybe hold 95.50 and you reestablish, but I need to see consolidation and a lot of it before I would jump back into that trade. And not to ignore some of the bigger names in the market there, but it's worth checking. Remember, Microsoft was relatively weak yesterday. It is worth noting when the market just came down, Microsoft broke out the high. So the NASDAQ went red, bounced a little bit, and Microsoft took out the high. So once again, it's relative strength today in Microsoft is what I'm kind of getting. It's not screaming or anything, but we might have to think about it a little bit differently than we were the last couple of sessions.
Man, do we got a couple screamers on right now, man. This is a good one for us. Look at it, Facebook, $1 now in the money on FB. Man, this is fun trading, man. I'm so glad to be back and just killing these stocks with you guys here. Facebook, ooh, we missed that. It does go $1 and change in the money. Man, these names are violent right now to the upside. We didn't get anything out right there when it just ripped up through 210, so that was a mistake there. Have too many names on board. Apple bouncing around as well. This is probably something I'm just going to let Airbnb go, man. Airbnb's been a sick trade for me, so we'll watch that go through. But right now, Apple, Facebook, and Airbnb, the names that we have. Let's see, can Apple take down 160.50? Let's go, baby. This is going to mean a lot here if it takes it down, so we'll watch out for that. Maybe get one more out if I can here. Yeah, there it is. We just offered and got hit there at 42.43. So there's Apple off some nice reloads. I love what you're talking about there with Softy, so that's another name to keep our eye on as well. But come on, man. Let's take out this 160.50. There it is. Let's go, Apple, man. Let's see 161 and change. This is definitely a good trade right here for me on Apple. We just got to make sure that we get Facebook. 70 cents in the money. We got to make sure we get this out if it comes back to that 210 area.
So there's this that RVSN, the small cap, it is just bouncing off $2 like now, like 3 or 4 times, $2 to this 235 high. Obviously, 250 is going to stand out, and $3 are going to be big levels. But if it does not get through this at the open, we always talk about a pop and fade. If it can't get through this 235, the risk to reward on a curve here, if I can get 28s or 29s, is going to make sense. Do not forget about oil. I know we didn't break out in oil. I know that because I didn't get a fill in Oxy, but some of those smaller cap names are trying to go there. So do look out for them. This short in RVSN, the stop is at 235. If it goes through the high of the day, this thing could halt. It's a very, very small float, so do be careful with it.
All right, come on, let's go Facebook. I'm already dug into these positions, man. Let's just continue to watch and see if this one can go upside. We're waiting in the 80s, 89 to be exact, to get some out here on that one. We just got that AMD. I don't know. I guess you're out of your AMD now.
Yeah, 96. It's a 95. I got a 96.
That's what I mean. I just got a 95 bid there on AMD. So 95.25. That's where we're long right now on AMD. I guessed this name, and I said it off the open that this name would fall down. It's embarrassing that I'm not short. We called it, like, if you woke up today and saw this kind of a print on AMD, why didn't you take it, right? So right there, no surprise to me that this fell down right now. This is exactly the patience game that we're trying to play. We'll see if it can break 94. If it does, then we're gone. Next area for me, 94.50. We'll try to put some bids on right there. But we are, like, burning up this market right now. Airbnb back to 158. Let's go Airbnb right now. Big time trading right now happening for me. Airbnb, a nice move up to 158. Let's get out another piece if we can take that out. We're going to watch out for AMD, but right now we're going to go 4 for 5. The only one messed up on is Lyft. But right now, AMD long is my biggest concern. And then Airbnb, let's get this out at 158. It just keeps dancing around. We'll hold a small piece, but we got to take something out if it takes 158 one more time.
Yeah, AMD, like the size of this gap here is worth noting. Like the gap 92, pretty much to that 96. So there's a lot of room for this to go. There was a top wick there on RVSN. It did get through that 230, 235, got to 244, and then did one of those rejections. So if it does a failed breakout, then I always jump right back in the same trade. You guys know how that works. Brendan, what do you got for us, buddy?
Another little one starting to go here, guys. We've looked at this before. SYTA, Seattle Mobile. On a big volume spike up to 150 again. Just checking on SYTA.
Oh, man. Damn it. Look at this, man. We didn't even get out of this, by the way. We're waiting to get out right now, 158.80. I said if we break 158, I just want to see how far this can go up. So right now we have a $5 winner on board for Airbnb. And this is an awesome trade for a few reasons, because yesterday I talked about Airbnb and that I liked this name going into earnings. So really happy, really proud that this has worked out for hopefully a lot of you guys if you did take that swing trade with me on Airbnb. So hopefully that has paid off a little bit for you. We might have just got a little bit. We were at 80. Can you believe that? We were at 158.80. It went to 158.74 as the high. So let's rechange that to 158.50. We just missed getting out of a $5 winner there. So Airbnb, definitely, I'm going to adjust that. But we'll see. We're at the high right now. If it visits it again, we'd like to get out. So let's just change our order up. AMD bouncing around. I do have another bid down there at 94.60. So if that comes in, we'll get longer there on AMD.
So, Dominic, I see this TNON. Look, there's a halt on this TNON volatility halt. It has done 34,000 shares. So I want to say you can make money on these names. Don't get me wrong. Like, this has been a tradable stock before, but it's done this kind of a move previously. It's 30 all the way up to 44. It just halted down at 39.50. The spread is going to be gigantic on this. The liquidity is going to be non-existent on this. So you better make sure that you have an obvious out. I don't like trading them until they settle down a little bit and can hold without halting for at least like 10 to 15 minutes and then try to trade it. But just be really cautious when this opens up. I get it. You can make your money. And if you got this long at 20 or 22 and you're not taking profit at 39, sure, it can go to 50, but it can also go to 20 in like 5 minutes. Brendo?
April PMI numbers out there at 9:45, guys. Higher than expected, 55.6 versus 54.5. And then the global April final composite number, 56 versus 55.1. So another LTHM was on watch as well. But another uptick there for the market.
Yeah, so this Apple trade, it's just working like crazy. And I don't know why it's working, to be honest with you. The NASDAQ is down and Apple's up almost 1%, and the NASDAQ is down 0.13. But we identified it early, man, that Apple was strong. And we were just like, let's just buy all of this. So that's exactly what we did. Unfortunately, we should not have bought AMD. Facebook, we got out nicely on this one, man. We're only into 30% left of Facebook. As soon as we hit out above this level 210, we took that profit. The NASDAQ doesn't look great great today, so we do have to like rest on this a little bit here. Yeah, Airbnb, nice trade. We'll see if we can get that. It's come back in a little bit now. But Facebook trying to make a move back upside. It just touched that 208. We were waiting for 208.60. It touched 208.80, so maybe a little bit of a mistake there, waiting a little too low on that name. But right now, the big trade that's really not working is this AMD, as that continues to get hit to the downside, man. We may visit that 92 level that we talked about. So we're ready if that comes through, man. We are dug into this, so it sucks right now, but we're long at 95 flat. So we're only out 50 cents right now on AMD, but again, we do have not an oversized position, but a decent sized one, about a normal one for me. So yeah, not going to be good when it dumps out, man. I just wish we put some more effort, not more effort. We have the same shares on Apple that we did on AMD, but we should have put more onto Apple. But we'll see. AMD, I don't feel the story is done quite yet.
And it's arrows down. I mean, the market's starting to obviously coming back. But look, it's 0.1 down on the NASDAQ. But Moderna goes right into our target out at 145, so we're able to catch it. I wish it was 146, and I had mentioned to you guys on the daily chart, 156 being that rejection of the 50-period moving average. And when it curled at that price, it was going to make a lot of sense. That's why we took out of that long. But I just didn't want to grab it at 912, and that was a mistake. We did get the pop and fade at the open. This trend it's pretty clear downward trend. So it is in play for a pop back to like 50s or 51s for a short. Now the only thing I'm into, because a lot of things haven't come in just yet. AMD's not quite to that target I wanted for a bounce. I'm sitting at 93, like 70 or so. And that RVSN still has yet to resolve itself. It did one failed break where we took and made it's not the top wick, but it stops out at the high of the day, and I'm going to get out at the high of the day, which we did. And then it does that wick, and then I jump right back in at the same level. And if it takes out the top, you get out once again. So that's the only one that we have on. I'm looking right back over to Uber where I'm trying to pick up, just find a way. It was like GE when it came down after their earnings, where it's almost like find a way into that short trend. I want in front of 28, but right now it's only giving you in front of 27. And if that's how it's got to be, then that's how it's got to be.
Oh, man. Yeah, things are starting to work out a little nice for us, man. New position alert. We just took Microsoft down here, so we'll see if that's going to want to work out. We did reload our Facebook trade, so why not get a piece out if we can? And there it is, 80. Like, we just put this on right now, 209.20, man. It's at 209.90 right now, Facebook. So here we go to the upside. We just punched more Microsoft long right now. So let's see if that can work. We'll get out some more Facebook. But right now we are concerned with Microsoft, as that is a big long for us. Apple, by the way, like, hey, man, come at the king. I say this all the time. Look what Apple's doing right now. 160.92 we just got right there. So, wow, $1 in the money there for us on Apple. It could be even a lot lower than, or a lot better than that, but we've averaged into this position. There goes Softy right now. Yeah, buddy, man, this is a good day. One more time here. Softy, let's see if we get a piece out. I was actually waiting there on Microsoft at 76. How high did we get there? There we go. We got another piece out on Softy at 60s. Now it's starting to fade back in. The NASDAQ did make a bump up. Man, this is going to be like a crazy net day here today. As there goes AMD. Thank you very much, AMD, for that move back up to the upside. Oh, baby. Let's see if we can get, there it goes right back down. Let's see if we can take something out. If AMD gets back up to the upside, man, we are just rocking on this right now, AMD. So far, so good here. Only trade we've messed up was the lift so far. But let's wait to see AMD. You can see our average price. Hopefully this starts to climb. If the NASDAQ rocks and roll, man, we are going to be monstrous today. So let's just hold on to some of these and see if they start to work out for us. Right now, AMD, we are sitting at 20 on here, 95.20. I don't know why I went up there. We're going to wait for that, but now it's coming back in. Watch out for the NASDAQ, man. If this falls down, we have our outs. So, what could be a good day could turn sour very, very quickly. Make sure you have your outs. But if the NASDAQ rallies, I think we'll be in good shape. But you may want to hedge that with maybe a short on something else. But right now, we're long all the NASDAQ names. Come on, AMD, let's go, baby. We're rocking this one right now. We just got to get out.
Yeah, it's whipsaw action in the market. Like almost everything pretty much resolved itself at this point. Like I can't even be holding on to things like Moderna. AMD, it needs to get to 93 for me or reestablish 96. I'm trying to stay away from this price area because it feels, I look at the chart below 96, like I don't want to short it, but it feels like, that's the weakness that it has, and we're going sideways in the market. RVSN, if you're into trend lines, you can sort of see this nice little trend it's holding. It also happens to be VWAP, so if it's going to hold 220, I got to get some out there and then start taking more out in front of 2, because if it doesn't break 2 even, this thing is going up. I want to hold some shares in case it breaks too even, but you got to respect the fact that it is trying to put in a bullish trend there. There was Oatly that we're trying to get involved in, if you remember that. Whoops, Oatly. I thought Oatly was on the New York. I guess not. It's on the NASDAQ. That didn't wait for anybody. Oatly didn't just break the low. It then went red on the session and got all the way down to 325. If it gets anywhere, if it tries to sniff 375 to $4, it is definitely going to be a fade. Coming back over to the aforementioned lift, obviously that was one that didn't work out, trying to get it off 22. It's now at $21. I'm not, you know what, I can't go back on the daily chart. Just suffice to say, 2080 to 21 is a monster level way, way back when on the daily chart. And right here, right now, trying to barcode off of this level. If it takes it out, $20 is going to be huge on the bid, I'm assuming. But this could get absolutely, I don't even want to use that word. I'm not going to curse online, but this could be an absolute gong show if we see $20 on lift. But I want to be fading it if we get past this 21.75 and give it to 21. It's a monster level on the daily, that 2080.
All right. Lyft. Lyft is going to be our only red stock today, so there's nothing we can do about that. We took the trade. We liked it where it was. Microsoft, though, we talked about that being relatively strong. Should have just stayed with the king, man, as this is not what? I didn't even realize how high this one's up right now. Let's take another piece out for Apple. Might as well. If we can get those 18s, let's do it. There it is again. Wow, mamma mia, Brendan, as Apple right now just continues to make that cash. We're throwing the cash around right now on Apple, so let's go right now, drop it down and go over to Brendan. What you got for us?
Tech's so strong today. Financials also showing a little bit of strength. HSBC, some deal reporter rumors floating around on a spinoff possibly for insurance. And this one, PRTS, they reported better than expected, up 22% for that one.
There's if you're wondering why the market feels so bad when it's only down 0.2% and the ES is actually still positive, it's names like Netflix, and we talk about Uber and Lyft looking pretty bad. I'm actually back into Uber right now, but some of these names are absolutely dying, and that's why the relative strength that you're even seeing in something like a softie. Remember Tesla? Yeah, so we tried to short off 908. Stop out at that 910, so that risk reward sat in. If you get stubborn, you're sitting at 915 in the face. We are right back almost to 900. So it goes up, it comes right back down. It bounced off 900 the first time. You are also getting the NASDAQ, which is, oh, great.
Now
I was going to say, if the NASDAQ holds the bottom, then you try to buy the dip in something which was previously strong. Forget about it. The NASDAQ just broke the low, so it's, get more of a short that I like. So I'll just get more of the Uber short, because if we're breaking the lows, I'm not going to be trying to get into a long in front of this moving freight train.
Oh, man. Yeah, I will. I'll try to get longer.
Well, not Tesla.
No, Tesla. Yeah, well, any of these stocks, man. I mean, Apple, Tesla, AMD, Facebook, all these major NASDAQ names, man, getting clocked right now. So be very, very careful. I'm going to average into AMD and then watch out for that 94 break. I'm already out there. We're actually up on AMD today. It's just a matter of waiting for this trade to come in again to the downside if it does hit. We don't know. I'm going to wait to see what's going to happen there. Apple still holding out the highs. Microsoft dipped down there pretty bad to 281. That really should have been the area that we started to build this trade. But if it takes down 281, then we got to get out of softies. So that almost broke right there. So right now, softie is an area of concern for me as we've dug into this name. You know what? I mean, sometimes, you'll hear me and Neil talk about this all the time, is sometimes trades are meant to lose. And, if you're sitting there, you take the trade that you think you like and it doesn't turn out, well, there's not much you can do about that. And you just have to be smart about it and see if you got the right levels, so on and so forth. And we'll do that right now on Facebook, as this is a name that's rocking right now. We're long at 208.60. So, let's not look these, to take a word from a man over here, gift horses out, because, if the NASDAQ wants to fail, we don't need to be long everything right here, guys. So let's just start to piece. You see me piecing some out now. We already got that nice long down there at 208. We talked about defending that 208 area. So there's the bid, man, 208.50. It just ripped up for us 70 cents. So yeah, we did take something out there. Now we're going to take some more out, as Facebook is so jumpy, man, to the upside. So let's just keep on getting it out. If the NASDAQ fails here, we're dead. But that's why we are slowly trying to get some of these out, man. Facebook now 50 cents in the money on a decent position for me.
So Lyft just broke that 2080, which I wanted to pull back the daily chart. It didn't want to cooperate with me. It's a monster level on the daily chart. You just have to go really, really far back, which we couldn't do. But the Uber short isn't working out as well. Uber short is sitting out of the money 10 cents when Lyft took out that low. So you're seeing at least a little bit of relative strength. if you want to even call it that, in Uber off this 27 level. But Lyft, man, if it gets to 20, I'll be all out, because I would fully anticipate there'll be a little something on the 20 bid. Maybe it's an iceberg. It's just such a huge psychological level. And at that point, like, you closed at 30 bucks. Like, you know, it's too obvious for there not to be dip buyers, I think, down there. So if this does work out and extend all the way down, I took some out in front of 2050. I'll take some out in front of 2025 and be all out in front of 20 even. It's not an automatic long, but if the bid's big enough, we're day trading here. If I see a monster bid on Lyft at 20 bucks, even though I like the short today, that's probably going to be a long in front of it. And if it breaks, you got to give it up. We're not there yet, but got to start thinking about it. I decided not to get into Tesla when it was consolidating. It's like, if you're going to go long on a 900 bounce, let it get to 900. So hopefully that might have saved me a couple of dollars. And I shorted 08s and then lost when it broke 10s. I'm going to try and keep it tight to the vest. Like, we are screaming to the downside, so I'm hopefully going to save a little bit by only taking it if we get it right up close, bouncing off a 900.
Yeah, so Airbnb could wind up failing here. We took another long here in Airbnb. I'm going to give it to 149. If we break down below 149, then we can get out, or 150, I guess. I'm just putting the order in right now to make sure that we get this. I don't want to. And again, I always put in orders first. Well, take the position, then get the stop order in, because we're just looking at too many names. Like, if this was to fail here, and I'm looking at Microsoft or AMD or something like that, we got to make sure that we have our eye on this. So we just put that bid right there, 153, and we got it. So let's wait to see now. We're going to give this down to 150, see what happens right now. What just happened there? Oh, AMD. Okay, we are now red on AMD. Unrealized, obviously, as we're taking down 94 right now. So this is going to put us red. There it is. We got out a little bit. We will hold a small piece of AMD, but look at it just coming back in, man. Today, I guess it's going to have to be Powell to the rescue, because there's the NASDAQ right back down there at 13,000. We wanted this name, AMD, to come down today. I didn't think it would be like almost in a straight line, but I did know that there would be some selling, which is kind of crazy why I was averaging back and forth into this trade. So we are long right now again. We didn't dump it all, but it did take that out. You have to be very, very careful about some of these bottoms, man. Some of these NASDAQ names have obviously fallen just straight off a cliff. What is JP Morgan doing? Because I do think, great name here. Glad that JP Morgan's starting to work. I got to buy some banks in this environment. They work in raising rate environments, and you got a nice little dividend attached to them. So I think this is one that can work, JP Morgan. So let's watch out for them. But right now, man, Airbnb could take down that 150. We're going to get out if it does that.
Let's just say that 900 on Tesla, that was the shortest offensive of all time. I was in that trade and stopped out. I'm not saying instantly, but I mean, like, you could blink and it was right through. And however, it comes right back. It takes out 900 again to the upside. So you know the drill. If it sets up like that and I like the level, I'm going to get into it and then just make that trade off of the low of the day. So no stubbornness about it. Like, we're going to stop it out each time and not try to hold on to it too far. But guess what finally came in? Waited all morning for it, and now you've got 93.50 just popped in for me on AMD. I got 65s, but this is the level where it started to get really deep. When it broke that 96 area, we got out of the long, and we're waiting for it to get down, and whoops, on the 15-minute, and actually retest that previous range, that 92 to 91.50 to about 92 area. So that's the last ditch longing for me on AMD. Look, Lyft and Uber are going to work for the shorts, so we're hanging on to them. At this point, it's like, hold on to your shorts and try not to get wrecked on the longs as we go to Brendan for Happening Now.
Hey guys, just watch the market here. ISM Services PMI number just out below estimates, 57.1 versus 58.3. So that was the final ISM PMI number. So heads up on the overall market. To the downside right now for the S&P 0.2. The Dow's still positive on the day. Bit of a mixed story for small caps at this point. But yeah, here's the story to be aware of. 0.75, 0.63 here for the composite and the 100. So tech leading back to the downside after a nice bounce yesterday. So we'll see how this plays out going into this afternoon. There's Moderna. We were talking about it in the pre-market a little bit off a decent report, but gives it all back and then some for mRNA. Now down 2%. Starbucks trying to fade as well, but seems to be a buyer. I was watching at the initial time it came down here versus some of the support from the pre-market. Seems to be a buyer around that 79, guys, for Starbucks. Back to you.
Well, if there's a buyer there on Starbucks, I'm telling you that that's the only buyer in the market there, whoever that might be. But we'll see. That's a bit tongue-in-cheek. We're down 0.6%. It just feels like more because everything is screaming. When you're staring at stocks like Lyft that are down like 33, Tesla breaking 900, it'll seem like it's all doom and gloom here. And yeah, I probably ended up getting out of Moderna too early. But keep in mind, it's a Fed day, so I was sort of expecting some things to respect ranges a little bit better than they were. So maybe it could have been 10. We'll see what happens with Lyft. I was just trying to get the bid at 20, 30. Where am I sitting? Oh, I was at 32. That's why I didn't get it. I might sit in the low 40s there and try and grab that one as it tries to continue the trend down. But I'm not short 22 when that broke. This is now, the short when 2080 broke on the daily chart. So we don't actually have the greatest price in the world. It's either that or the greatest price in Uber on the short side of the trade. I'm short here off of the 27 level. I got some out 26.60, and I'd like to see us maybe test down here to 26.25. But these had already fallen so far that if the market makes a bottom, they got so much room to come back into the upside. That's how it works. I did just get Lyft at that 2040 area, so we just took some profit there. I expect to be all flat if Lyft sees 20 bucks, just anticipating there could be a bid there.
Okay, we were able to buy some nice bottoms here, man. We did get stopped out of our Microsoft right there, but then we bought it against that 280. We actually just zoomed it out, man, and saw that yesterday's bottom was right here. 280. So we took some more longs against that 280 and starting to cash out a little bit now as you can see the average price. So we just got some out at 11s. We got some out in the 40s there as we ripped back upside. But now you can see right here, the NASDAQ, like any sort of a relief rally, we're trying to get out of all the shares that we had on the long side. So not all of them. I mean, we did take more shares in Apple, right there at the 50 period. We did like that name. And again, the market's going to have to rally. And if it doesn't, then we have our outs, including Microsoft down here, 159, 80 or so, right where we started to buy it. If we can break that range, then I think that, it down ticks down here to 158 flat or so. So we're going to have to watch out. But here goes Apple working to the upside. So can't complain right now. We're long at 160 here on Apple. So 60 cents in the money on that name. AMD has been the shit show to the downside for anybody that's in this name. We've lost on it, haven't lost that much. We are holding a small piece now of this name. So let's see if that can work. Microsoft making moves. Facebook, we're trying to buy these 208s, man, every time it comes down here. So again, I don't know how many we want to reload on this stock over and over and over again, because at some point, this 13,000 on the NASDAQ is not going to hold, including like maybe right now. So we're just testing right now 13,000 as we speak. Yeah, knock on wood, because no idea if it's going to hold or not. So, it's into the Fed day. I said that, the morning would be crazy and just you could trade a lot of these names. I think that's what's happening. Fed will start to become an issue in a couple hours. Like right now, the markets are moving around. You got to watch out for the NASDAQ. We did have a big week so far. You were up that almost at 2% in the NASDAQ on Monday. Then yesterday was about flat, maybe up 0.2, something like that. So yeah, you're gonna have to watch out for all these trades. Airbnb also getting close to that 150. It looks like they want to sell this name as well today. We had a nice run early, and now it looks like we'll give it back if it takes down that 150. But hey, Airbnb was a good one, but not for very long, man. It was only good for the first 20 minutes or so.
So now I'm actually going through, and I got to cancel some stop orders. I'm not getting the break on CVX. This is sort of obvious. It didn't take out the top, but I actually like the dip still, and I might actually be able to get this one. AMD, we'll see if it can hold 92s. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to add to any longs unless it actually bounces off support. Right. So it's probably just going to have to travel down there and see what happens, then hang on to your shorts, try to profit from them. But CVX, I still like the notion of playing it to the long side on Chevron, but I don't want to be just sitting on any bids anymore. If they haven't filled by now, you want to be careful about the way that you get them. The only thing that will ring the register for is when these shorts start to come in. And again, if you got a short that's working, and maybe hold on to it, and hindsight is 20/20, and there weren't many shorts, and I wish I still had Moderna, but it's one of those things. If you didn't really think it was going to follow through this strongly to the downside, well, you weren't anticipating holding, which I was not. If we get to $26 on Uber, we're already past SSR. I'll try to let it break this level. I would probably be all out of Lyft anyway, so we'll hold on to Uber if Lyft breaks or gets to that 20 level. Those are the two ones that look relatively weak. I did forget all about Alibaba, which it's not that I forgot about it. It was so far away removed from that 102 that I liked that I just didn't necessarily see the trade. It tried to break out, at 98, failed at 99. If BABA takes out 97 here, there's room back into 95, which was support there. I would much prefer, instead of shorting on the lows as the market's making lows, to be trying to play the ranges and short it off the high at 99. So anyone watching this name, if you are short, man, 95 is a pretty big level. We saw it catch a big bid a couple of days ago on Alibaba, Ms. V.
Hey guys, it's an exciting day so far. I hope you're having some great trades. And again, I know you're very busy right now, so that's why I remind you, please like this video, find just a second, smash that like button, and support the community. Now back to you guys.
Yeah, we're just debating here about the market versus the stocks. I mean, the NASDAQ really, look at the 3-minute chart here on the NASDAQ. I mean, it's just bleeding right now to the downside. We're still hearing some of that feedback in our ear there, Fahad. We can hear what you're talking to Brendan about. Okay, so let's just watch out right now for Apple. I don't mind buying a little bit more of this in case we do get a bump because, again, Apple's still positive right there. So we're going to watch out for it. But I honestly feel like any kind of a bump up, like I said this, man, this is why we've been trying to empty out some of these levels out here for us. Any kind of a bump up, we need to be thinking about getting out right now. As I'm trying to find a name that's maybe rocking here, Starbucks SBUX still at that 79 level, so this could be something. They have yet to go down. Starbucks yet. Right now, AMD only up that 2% now. So yeah, everything falling down. Give it to us, Brendo.
Match Group, another one, not falling down. Surprisingly, was down huge off earnings. I remember there was that report in the afternoon yesterday that their earnings might have come out or their guidance came out, but turned out to be not much of a big deal. But they get flushed anyways off earnings back into some of those levels from aftermarket yesterday from Match.
So I was going to say RVSN's up. Like I go long on $2 and scalp it out. Then the short I've tried now twice. Actually, no, sorry, check that 3 times. And one of them was okay, but then the other 2 just absolutely stunk. So RVSN testing 250 now. It's grinding to the upside. It probably has to go more parabolic. Uber just did a shakeout at 22. Remember, I was like, okay, well, we'll try to hold on to. No. Uber did the shakeout
at 22.
Yeah, no. Lyft is at 20.
Yeah, okay, right.
But Uber just broke 26.
26, yeah.
Got down to like 25.90. So I'm like, okay, throw a trail in because it broke 26. If it doesn't get through 90, and then like I put the trail in, as soon as I was in, I got filled.
Got clapped.
So basically, like it did that whole thing where it fails to break down and then trails me out. And now, of course, it's tanking. So I find myself out of Uber. It did just resist that bottom, and then Lyft is at that $20 level and is holding $20. I don't see a huge bid down there anywhere, but obviously 20 is a pretty big round number. I saw like 60 or 70,000 shares, which when you're doing 32 million is not a lot. I'm sure there'll be more than that, but it's starting to round off and trying to hold this low. So I said I'd be flat if it got down here because if 20 breaks, I'm just going to get out right here. I was sitting at 11. I'm just going to pay and take 13s. If it gets to $20 and breaks that level, you can short it. If it pops here, you can retake 21s. There's no need to look that gift horse in the mouth. Not on this particular day. There's too much whipsaw action. So I want to make sure I'm grabbing the profits where it lies. Both Lyft and Uber, $26 on Uber, $20 on Lyft, have hit a consolidation level. If they pop from here, you can just jump back into the trade. If they break those monster levels, you can take the breakdown. So now I'll put a stop in. So if we break 20, I'll try to get the short at 99s or 95s or whatever it might be. Just remember, it's SSR. Doesn't mean you can't get the fill. It just means it's harder to get the fill. And come on, AMD, bounce here, please.
Yeah, we just did not get any bounces in Microsoft there, man. It took down that 280 and we got out. So a couple good trades on Microsoft today, but honestly, that last little one, we tried it there at 280.50. It just took down that level, but we may have just wick bottomed there. But I mean, if I keep looking at all those bottoms, then I'll just keep getting stopped out, to be honest with you. So we got to be very, very careful here with the names that we're looking at and how we're trading this market. With that being said, let's just go to find some names here that are at levels that we trust. Like we trusted that Microsoft 280, so we went there with it. Didn't work. That's what's going to happen sometimes, man. And then just like that, maybe it was right, maybe it was wrong, but there's 280 right there on Microsoft. So bounced around the last couple of days. We thought it might hold. Maybe it still does. I just went over to different names now, including Apple, including Airbnb, AMD, and Facebook. So right now, Microsoft, I talked about it being a little relatively weak, that there's still some money that has to come out of this one before we start testing some of the bottoms on Softy. Like you could get to 270 here, right? A name like Facebook and things like that. Wow, Facebook, nice little reload there. Let's get some out here. I got to get some profit on that Facebook reload. Okay, we'll drop some money down. I mean, this isn't all doom and gloom today for Facebook right there on that rebuy. I mean, look at all these buys. Like you would think that how could I be like up on and up a lot today on Facebook, right? And when you see this kind of a move, how is someone that's going long up? Well, I mean, I get trash talked all the time here because I take out shares too soon, right? I mean, but this has worked for me today. And sometimes these days, you know, when you're just wrong on the market, and I like to go long, obviously, as a lot of these names have come into long prices, I'll go short as well. You know, like the only mistake was really not going short off that 100 level on AMD. That would have been the good trade. But there it is, right? Now Facebook comes right back in. We just took 60 cents on this name, and then it just came right back in 30 seconds. So sometimes you got to scalp around. It's a little safer to do that than to hold something. But yeah, Softy was a short, man. For sure, whoever just said that, Paul, you're right on that name. Softy was a short. We saw that it was relatively strong early. Should have got out of it, man, when it started to drip down there. And again, like I'm here to trade, so I'm going to wait for some key levels that come through. I think that's what we all should do. And I think that's what we all basically do. And unfortunately, Microsoft did take out some of those highs there, 284. So that's, yeah, you like that one, Randy? Like, you know, whenever I say crazy things, the Jorts man over there gets involved. So
I wasn't going to say anything about the doo-doo comment.
Yeah. But
it's doo-doo, baby.
Exactly. So there we go. So.
Oh, speaking of Dave Chappelle.
Didn't Dave Chappelle get like assaulted or something? Man. I was trying to find out what that was all about.
Someone took him down.
Took him down? What?
No, he got tackled. Well, I don't know.
Was it that bad?
I didn't really see it. I saw like a still photograph. I don't even know the story. I just know something happened. Don't take out my boy Dave. Dave is.
Well, he's pretty controversial. Maybe he said. That's what I was trying to see. Like, did he?
I don't know what he said.
Will Smith, like, yeah, did something happen there where he insulted somebody?
I only hit the slap is because of Will Smith and Chris.
Of course,
yeah. Okay,
I mean, that's.
I'm sure you guys all know about that.
What was the Will Smith thing again?
Well, what happened? Apparently, Chris Rock came on after and said that
keep my wife out your mouth, even though this is stand-up, even though this is comedy, even though this happens all the time. Keep my family out your mouth.
And look. At the end of the day, if you can't handle getting roasted, I'm just saying, man.
I don't know. I mean, you know what? I mean, the thing is, too, whatever, it is what it is. I mean, I think there was a little, both guys a little out of line there. I mean, maybe, and again, I'm not a stand-up comedian, but maybe you like,
okay, look,
tell him beforehand? Like, I don't know, how does that normally work?
Look, man, I don't know how it normally works.
That's what I mean.
I'm just saying maybe both guys cross the line, but habitual line step if you actually hit somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like,
to get up on stage there.
This isn't Rick James, what does the five fingers say to the face? Like,
that is what it was.
You don't slap him, a man.
Oh,
anyways,
man.
AMD, I was about to say, as soon as AMD got back to 94 and took some profit out, it comes right back to the lows. Brendan, give us good news, please.
Sadly, I don't have any. Apple, guys, back to the downside here. There was some volume that came in on Apple on a note that iPhone City in Shenzhen has been immediately locked down after another COVID-19 outbreak that they're saying will affect iPhone 13 production. So bit of a downtick there for Apple.
What?
I said good news, Brendan. So anyways, I just
no
covered.
more going to Brendan anymore.
I covered my only two shorts. All I have, and I've been trying to get in and get flat on trades just so I'm not holding on to anything. I covered the only two shorts, so I'm not in anything anymore. And AMD just took, give me a break.
We're dead.
And AMD just took, now I don't even have a position anymore. Like AMD just took out that 93, so that scalp didn't work out. We'll see what happens. I'll try to get back into it. If it gets to that 92 level and can try and make a bounce off of that previous support, fair enough. But this market is just abjectly failing. If you're looking for something strong, then you probably like RVSN. Right? Like it's sometimes on these days, it's just the small caps. That's the only thing that's going to be working for you. I know you mentioned Match was pretty strong, but everything else failing for now. And I say for now because it can change in absolute heartbeat. For now, Uber has now thrice held $26 even. So like the only short I had was off 27, and even the first time I took it, it didn't work. It was the second time that was a charm. If we can hold 26, right, I know it's at SSR and the market is screaming, but the market has been making fresh lows and Uber has just been chilling out holding 26. And on the other end of that coin, because Lyft is obviously the other end of that coin, I got it right, it's on the NASDAQ, it's holding $20 even. So both of these appear to be making temporary bottoms. It's not about relative strength or weakness, it's about structuring a trade. And when the market screams like this, you're either holding on to a short or trying to take long very tight to your vest. And these two well, now we're through 26 on Uber. At least we're above 20 still on Lyft. These two would be tight to the vest. If 20 can hold on Lyft, I got out of the 2080 short. It's the last thing left standing. Like maybe Tesla 885, but catching that bid didn't work out. So I'm not going to try it again. Someone put in IMPP. I want to note here, and someone said IMPP blah, blah in the chat. The volume is dying on this, and it's not showing a lot of strength off of $1. And there's this kind of thing happening here at 102. Like it's not an iceberg. There's actually an offer here at 102. But if it doesn't get taken out, there's only one way for this to go. I mean, it's like a retake of one. Like, because it's an easy short for a day trader to short ones and give it to two and just lean on it. Like, that's what probably is going to end up happening here. If it breaks two, that's good because there's a lot of people that'll stop out and maybe take it to the high. But you can't ignore what's happening. It's been for like 25, 30 minutes now. It can't get through 102. That's what I mean by it being weak and the volume dying down. If you're holding out hope for a long trade, it's kind of obvious what has to happen next here.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Right.
I don't know what to expect here. We're about to get out of a lot of these trades right now. So Facebook, we wrote down 208. I mean, it's down to 207 right now. If we break down there, we'll take a little bit out of this name. I mean, this is the thing, like we've been good on Facebook so far, and we won't give everything back, but at some point, there has to be a level where you're like, hey, too much of this pain is just enough. And honestly, for AMD, this is what I was talking about. Like you're right into this level that we like, $92. So, I mean, if there's going to be anything that needs to hold, I would think it's going to be this here at 92. But then again, if you believe in the long, then where do you get out, right? Like, if you're wrong, do you hold it to 90 again? But yeah, this 92 is an area of concern. So we're coming right back into this right now on this name. And this is what we talked about early, man. Would AMD catch that bid eventually? So far, no. I mean, it's been all the way to the downside. And we said early again, like, that if you woke up today off buying AMD, which a lot of people have been buying this name in the low 90s, you get an opportunity to get this out at 98 on Fed Day. Maybe you do take that. So now a little bit of a bounce back up, which is all good. And the one thing I want to note to everybody is Apple. Like this is a name here that we're still really green on today. It's been a great trade for me, Apple, today. And there it is, man. We doubled up the buy down there at 160. Let's see if it can get going. Take some outs here at the 50 period, add VWAP. But again, this market, like, how do you win on longs? You don't. You know, it's just about getting out. Hopefully today's not as bad a day as it has when you've made that money, right? And so that's what it's all about. Like, if today's worse than yesterday, fine. But trading is about longevity. Get your ideas in there, make that money, and, you know, test out your strategies. Hopefully they're working a little bit better than this market is today if you're long. But congratulations to anybody short. Tesla sub 900 right now. Fisker at 10 even. Twitter at 48.50. Disney at 112. I mean, the market continues to go down here. Uber bouncing off that 26, which is nice. 26.40 right now. And there's that out.
It makes no sense. Like
maybe it's the next shoe to drop.
The only long that I could find that I liked in that moment there was Uber 26, like one of the most putrid stocks today. But it had fallen so far that I guess it had to bounce. So, I mean, I'm not even, whatever, like I'm not going to hit a key. We got to go to Brendan here because if you're looking for something that really is screaming, you got to look at some of these small caps. So let's get the small cap recap.
Hi guys, yeah, not an overly busy day, but a little bit of movement. Anyways, in small cap world, RVSN, we were talking about just before the open. We're getting back into the top end of the range on the daily chart right now. For this, still up 75%. 250 though seems to be a problem. I said just before the open 2 and then 180 support. So a bit of a grind actually for this one to the upside, but volume dying off a little bit there for RVSN. SATL signed a deal with SpaceX this morning. That caused this move to 17.5, then it absolutely collapsed back down. 11 and then 10.50. I mean, this looks like nothing, but it's $2 to the downside. So it gave you 10.50. It had to be quick, but it gave you 10.50 versus 11 and gets all the way down to 9. So a huge mover. This one, SATL this morning. Then RDBX. Shout out to Lewis for reminding me of this in the pre-market this morning. 740, I guess we'll call it 730, 740 was that high. Ends up getting tested and failed. Had to try it twice, but it's starting to work now. Back to the downside again for RDBX. Guys, back over to you.
You know what? I'm not really holding on to ish, right? Like if you get a trade, take one of these. The Jays stunk last night, by the way. And then my wife and
I mean, they pulled Manoah.
Actually, the guy behind me was like, he was cursing when they pulled their starting pitcher. Like, he was pretty pissed off. He almost walked out. Good dude. He has seasons, so I see him all the time anyways. But it doesn't really matter. But it was hot dog day, and we went out and grabbed dinner, and it was dollar hot dog day. So
my mom messaged me. She's like, "We're grabbing dollar hot dogs." I was like, "Oh, is that every Tuesday?"
That was big. It's the first Tuesday of every month. It was a big
it's
L for
only
me.
the first Tuesday every month.
Overspending because of inflation at a restaurant when I could have had dollar hot dogs, which is the only cheap thing at the Rogers Center. But we'll take the hot dog winners. And if you get a winner to the long side, bank it, baby, because there's a downward trend in Uber. It managed to hold 26. I'm not even reloading if it goes down there. So I have some stops to cancel here as well. But I'm not reloading on this. If it retests 26, if we put in lower highs and test 26, you could break this and then it's all she wrote. And I know it feels really, really, look, we're showing you stocks that are falling a heck of a lot. And, you know, if you look at what's happening in NASDAQ, no one wants to see 1%. It's on Fed day, so we know we can move a heck of a lot more than that. But we just, a minute ago, took out that bottom and where we couldn't break the range yesterday. We only just broke it now. And I understand, like, the floodgates could open up to 127. 50, but just be careful here. I know, I don't know, did we get, Arun mentioned that you had a 41.20 was the level he was watching for the ES. We're nowhere close to that for a support level on the ES, but the NASDAQ just only minutes ago broke that level. So I'm going to keep it tight to the vest here. If I can find something that's a quick little trade. We only have about 30 minutes till that 11 o'clock mark. Europe's going to close soon. Tesla just hit 888, and that is very, very tempting. I'll tell you that right now, because we've seen Tesla jump off this level before, and sometimes I feel like there's weird levels that hold because there's weird people that love Tesla. I'm one of them as well, so count me included. But 888, weird level for a bounce, but it seems like it's trying to do it here.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't know. I'm still sitting here with Apple. I mean, this lift trade down to $20. I mean, maybe that's something. I would like to see it take down like 21 and get back upside, but maybe it's just too far down right now to even bother to do that. Lift down 34% and still making moves to the downside. But we can't be happier right now other than Facebook. I mean, Facebook right now 70 cents in the money and starting to go back to the upside right now. Unfortunately, we didn't pick up any 207s. I mean, we were like dead, pretty much. I said that we were, and we were, but now the market has bounced back up there. We gave that I mean, my out was 207, so now that we're back upside 70 cents in the money, let's appreciate this almost to a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio there on that trade. We're gonna have to let Apple go a little bit more here. I'm at 160.50 right now. We've taken a couple outs here at 20, but for some reason this doesn't really want to go. So if the buyers come back to Apple, that would be nice, please and thank you at any time, as this is a name that's keeping me above water here as we've made money on Apple. Well, we're not above water on our net, but we've really done well on Apple today. So hopefully that can keep going right now to the upside. Someone said, hey, is there any day that I'm red? Yeah, today we are red as the market just continues to fade back in right now. You know what? I mean, maybe Disney we need to have a quick look at here as these tech names either they retrace back upside, and in that case, I have Apple, AMD, and Facebook, so happy with all of those trades, and maybe we'll have to look at Softy again. Here's Disney, a nice move up to 114, and then we're just on these bottoms again. So, not a tech name, so maybe Disney right here, if you did think of a rebound. Like, I want to go short a lot of these names, but they're just so far down that, it needs to retrace back up here before we start to look short. So that's kind of like what I'm thinking about when I look at these names. I don't know what Brendan's thinking about. Let's go over to see what news he's got.
SMCI, Super Microcomputer, is a cloud and networking storage company. They reported better than expected aftermarket yesterday. So I found a chart that actually looks pretty good, guys. SMCI on the run.
Oh, good. Thank you, because I'll add that to my list. And if you can't beat them, join them. Well, you know the line, right? But the RVSN, I finally decided to take I did have a long earlier off too, but that was in the pre-market. And I was pretty much out of it before there was even a time to even mention it, because it was just a $2 breakout trade. But if you look at it, it is VWAP and it is holding. It's also, you could draw a trend line here. It keeps bouncing off of this time 230. So I'll take a scalp trade here. I just grabbed 33s in front of that 30. If it cannot break 25s, then we'll hold on to it and see if it can't retest 250. You have noticed that it's basically 250 to 255 that is putting resistance on the stock. Well, the 15-minute, I have to go to the daily chart for you guys here. If you look at this 250, there's nothing too crazy about it. Like you would think after what this stock did previously, like 275 to 280 would be more significant, but 250, obviously on a $2 breakout, is going to be a psychological level and one that you're going to check up. So if we can hold quarters here, then I'm going to definitely scalp it to that 250 level. I might try to hold on to a piece in case it can get to that 275. Once it hits that level, if it hits that level, I should say, at that point, I'd be looking for a short side of the trade. Just have to always play your strategies. That Tesla, man, you guys are right. 888. It's a good fortune number. It bounced off of it. Only $5 to the upside off that level. So it's a bounce. Not too much just yet.
All right, let's go Ape Nation now. AMC. So AMC right here, right back down to these levels one more time. Let's just try it. We're not out of anything. We're long at 75. It's 10 cents in the money right now on AMC. Let's see if it can retrace back up here. I mean, I might just take this quick 10. I mean, I won't take it all. We can take a piece out here if we can get 84s right now, and we'll do. There it goes. Just got those 84s right now as it takes it out. So 85, 86, 87. Nice little run up here on AMC. Let's cancel, man. I was going to wait out. Actually, you know what? If we get 15, let's just go to 15 here. See if we can get a piece out right now. But a nice win. Thank you so much to the chat for that one. Oh my God. Someone just said, look at AMC, and I don't remember who it was. I'll try to find you there in the chat, but there it is right there. Larry, what's up, Larry? Thank you so much again. Right here, go for it. So I was like, all right, let's look. And I agree, Janice. Disney, man, I sold this at 180, 185, looking to get back in and have not rebought that name Disney. But right now, I don't know. We tried to ask Miss V yesterday if she wanted to talk about her Tesla trade, so it's going to be up to her if she wants to, but there is some requests for that. Okay, so right now Facebook back up to the upside here to see what's happening. So let's check out Facebook. All right, let's go. Let's take some out at 97 if we can. Right there, we just touched upside one more time. This trade is now gone really good for us. So let's go. If Facebook, did I say Tesla? Oh, that was Miss V. Facebook, a nice little move to the upside right now and still going. So there it is. Facebook, man, just should have gotten longer down there. Facebook's a monster trade for me today. I mean, I'm really happy with it and up a decent amount on that name. But unfortunately, we have some losers that we have to look at, including AMD, which is so silly, man. My price on AMD, I'm sitting there and I told you I was going to put on a big one. It was 92.30. Like, if you're waiting to put something on at 92.30, I probably should have gone in at 60. But again, the market was absolutely collapsing. I had bigger things on my mind, including my big Facebook position, Apple, things like that. But AMD, a nice little move back up. I'm going to cash some out, man. You got to take some out when this happens.
Yeah, exactly. And you got to go back. Sometimes you go back to the basics when this market goes down. So hit your notes. What was strong previously? We remembered good earnings on Starbucks, and then I was sort of scanning through, and then remembered, okay, well, did it break the lows? Oh, here's something that didn't break the lows on a good print. And then I remembered also 78.80 was a key level, that pre-market level, but also good on the 15-minute. It's a wick bottom, so it had a failed break to the downside. It then put in a higher low and is trying to break out. Above 78, I'm going long Starbucks. If the market can bounce and we just got a wick bottom, there is relative strength in this name and a pretty solid report, and it's beaten up. So for rising tide can lift all ships. Let's go Starbucks. But I'm only giving it to 78. That is a hard stop, Brendo.
Big mover past couple of days. BTTX back on the upside here as well through $2. A bunch of volume came in there, guys, back higher into some key levels, though, from the past couple of sessions here for this one. But heads up on BTTX. Let's get a quick check on how things in Europe are shaping up with an hour left. Miss V, what's up?
Hey, Brandon, European markets are negative on disappointing earnings. Retailer Boohoo trading in London down around 13% after posting a 28% drop in its annual core earnings. Back to you.
Just getting crude oil inventories as well, 1.3 versus a draw, so a build of 1.3 versus a drawdown of 600,000 expected. So, yeah, downtick there for crude oil, guys.
Ooh. Downtick for crude oil. So obviously a lot of the longs I wanted on crude never really came in, whether it was the dip, whether it was the breakouts. Didn't quite have a big enough range, but Upstart, thank you guys in the chat. Upstart making a bit of a run to the upside here as it just broke out. Yeah, there's relative strength to the market. Upstart on the daily just taking out this 89 level, so bottom channel attempting to be broken here. Now it did break out from this 85, 86. Come on, there we go. This is what I want to show you on the 15. Like now breaking out of that 89 range. So that's the big level for Upstart. You're looking for something which is in uncharted territories. Upstart ahead of this 89 looks really, really good. So I don't mind. I'm going to step in front of the 89. If it tries to dip, I'm going to go in front of 89 even and see if we can't get that at the bottom. Like I said, Starbucks, we stepped into it at 79. We'll give it to 78. I did finally take a long, or another long in RVSN, because that's the only way that it was working. I got the first scalp out here on the way to that 250. We'll take a couple more legs out. I do want to hold something if it can break the high of the day, because the trend's pretty good. But 275 is that line in the sand. I'd be all flat if it got there. Checking back in on Uber, yeah, that's still continuing, still on the NASDAQ. That's still continuing to hold that 26, but that little wedge that it's forming, yeah, it's getting a little bit tighter down toward that 26 level. It's broken it several times. 25.90 is that low of the day. But I'm not revisiting this long. It's not going to trap me into this. If we take out the lows and the market cannot hold this bottom, Uber is a weak stock. That was a dead cat bounce off 26, a scalp trading in 26.50, and no more. I'd rather find something actually strong to try and take along if I'm going to try to do so. Moderna's completely gotten away from us now. Oops. Oh, typed it the wrong way, so now it doesn't want to load. It's now down at 143. So suffice to say we got out of Moderna too early, and there was no pop to be able to get back into it. Something extreme would have to happen for it to get back to a shortable level. We looked that one in the face and just could not hold on to it past 45.
Oh, man, yeah, that sucks, man. There's so many good trades out there today that, man, some of those shorts to have held those would have been nice for sure. I didn't have any shorts today, so yeah, you can tell the way that my day is going. But we just took out another Facebook trade, man. You know, that's a good name, so we're going to keep looking at that. IBM up today as well. I mean, there's a few names that are up today, so you got to look at some of these relative strength names here. IBM up 9 right now, 0.9 obviously from that bottom, a nice little rip all the way to the top here. Now we're starting to pull back down a little bit as the NASDAQ just went for a little bit of a jog. I thought we were going to maybe test that 13,000, but as you know, we have been emptying out our clip here on a lot of these names. So still a lot more to happen here, but for right now, 13,000 coming into play for the NASDAQ. I mean, that's sort of the levels that we got to look at. But yeah, we're just getting out of a lot of these names. Maybe we can revisit Lyft at some point. That's literally right at 20. I don't know if Neil's done this yet, but let's see if there's any size. I don't see any size there.
I didn't see much.
But the bottom is that 20.002. So if you are interested in something there, maybe you can get that right there for that name. Apple maybe is starting to give it up. So we'll try one more time here. Getting long at 70. We'll give it down to 50. Oh, I'm bidding 70. Did we not just get filled there? No, we did not. There we go. Now we're filled. So now as it goes through us, we're just going to give this to 159.50. If it breaks, I mean, we can actually go lower. Why don't we go a little bit lower on that for Apple? So let's just cancel some of that trade there and give it a little lower on Apple as the NASDAQ's right at this breaking spot right there. So Apple is very, very close as well right now. So that's that 159.25 coming into play. Oh, this chart looks nasty. What's that level? 158.20. So yeah, there is a big move down coming here for Apple. I mean, it can test that 158. So let's not hold this for too long here as the market right now retracing back to lows, guys.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you're just getting whipsawed around. So I'm trying to be in and out of these, and it's like I get into Starbucks, I'm giving it $1, and it might give me that dollar loss almost instantaneously. RVSN somehow is trying to grind higher a little bit here, and I'm kind of curious because I know one thing Miss V trades. Miss V trades some Tesla, but I felt like this was a name that maybe she was looking at today. So let's see. You guys wanted to see what was going on, what kind of trade she was putting on in live, by the way. So without further ado, let's check in on Miss V.
Thank you, Neil. That's right. In live, real money trading here, guys. I have 9 short trades on Tesla overall. Profitable day for me. And again, for now, I think I will step back and will be looking forward for Fed for more trades. But thanks for asking. Yesterday was negative day for me. And today I've been able to recover a little bit.
Well done, Miss V. Because I'm going to stick my hand up. Hold your hand up if you shorted Tesla above 905 and lost today. That's what I did today. So anyways, it's going to happen to you. Like, look at this. This is actually a wick off top on Tesla. I know it's a big one, but it's still like it gave you that false break and then a fail. And here's what should happen at a price like this. Like if I like the short 907 to 910, like that was the target range on the 15-minute chart that I liked. When it does a false break and then consolidates for, what is this? This is a 3-minute chart. So it consolidates for 10 minutes in between 907 and 910. Then you go back into that short. Remember the rule, right? Like you go back into that short. False breakout, consolidate at the level that you like, go right back into the short, and then it falls. I don't. I try to catch a falling sword at $9. But anyways, it's about learning from your lessons. And if you want to look at It's a lot of times you structure the trade off the higher time frame, but then you might execute on the lower. But that's what I'm getting at. You had all kinds of resistance in this 910 and 907 range. It was a great trade when it did it back here on the 29th. That was on Friday. And then unfortunately, I did not get it. And I should have just jumped right back to the train. It's just sometimes you get in the heat of the moment, going back to the names that were hot instead of focusing on that setup. And it can save you sometimes getting away from the name that you lost on because then you don't revenge trade. But if it sets up, you got to take it. And it's set up, and I didn't take it. And by the way, Uber, right back to 26. Like, if Uber breaks 26, like, where's Lyft right now? Like, if this market continues through the lows and 20 goes on Lyft and 26 goes on Uber, I don't know where the bottom is on either one of these two past those levels. I'm not sure, like...
I mean, there is no levels. I mean, I think that's the point. I mean, you got to sort of watch to see what's happening right now. I like Starbucks, though, 70. I know you're in that one, 78.50. That's a good one. All right, so, we're just trying to scalp out a little bit here of Apple. Our average price is 80. So now you see Apple just comes right back up. We took a couple 95s and 96s. We just got a 94 right there. Now it comes right back in. So I'm just piecing these out, trying to hold the majority of these trades. But right there, we got out a 20% right there on Apple. Hopefully it can continue to make a move upside. I'm just going to hold out for that 159. I mean, the market's trying to find some base here. We're down that 1%. We've already, I wonder if the selling is done. We've seen a lot of pressure come out now, and I got out. Like, I literally, on this move up, I was telling you guys, we got to get something out on AMD. So there it is, man. We took these outs on AMD. So I'm just wondering if the pressure can kind of subside on this name a little bit, then maybe the market can come back to the upside right now. AMD's still positive on the day, but for anybody to tell you that it's been a positive stock today, hasn't been looking at it. It's been really tough to catch some of these bottoms. We're still down here at 92.50, but I'd rather not see that level just because of where we are with everything else right now. But we need to find some shorts, man. It's probably just that Uber breaking through 26. So Uber right now is at that 26 level. So this is a pretty key area for Uber right now. You've seen this move down, man. What a horrible earnings report, apparently, anyways. And it really started to get going once the call went on. Like, it wasn't really that bad. And then about 8 o'clock, I'm guessing that's when it started, or maybe even 8:30. The volume kind of picked up here a little bit. But then off the open, you can see what's happened. A bounce back to VWAP to 27, and now you're right at these lows again of 25.90. So, like, I'd like to push low on these names, but honestly, like, this is pretty low right now. You might want to look long, and I hate to always say, like, looking for longs, but if you didn't get sort of beat up earlier on, then there are going to be some good names to look at right now at some pretty key levels. I mean, Ford's at 14.50 right now. That's come back in a little bit today. Obviously down that 0.5%. We were at 14.60, but now trying to bounce off these 14.40 levels. So, there are some names that I like that have some good macro stories that I think should be bought. But at the same time, man, like, oil being down, Oxy's down to 59 right now. Oil's not down, it's still up 3.5%, but my eyes are just going up here. I'm trying to find some more names to look at. Moderna, Neil, 143. I mean, that one keeps going lower right now. JP Morgan, the banks are up 1%. So, lots of stuff happening, including Apple, which is bringing me back to life a little bit. Let's see if we take out 160. There it goes, upside right now, 160 on Apple. So we take that fill literally right there at 159.59, 159.99. Let's see if we get higher here. Next out for Apple, though, 160.20. Let's see if we go. Starting to go right now. Anything you want to review quickly before Sector Watch?
Well, just like once again, I actually take the 888 this time and get shaken out of it. But I did find, remember Upstart? So Upstart was a multi-level break. It was first 86, but then there's that 89 level that got taken out. It actually just pulled back to give the 89 entry and has just retaken 90. So finally found a long that actually worked out here. And it was something already up 5%. Thankfully there were some strong names in the market. And by the way, I didn't even notice Upstart until I saw it streaming in the chat. Everyone's like, Upstart's running when we're talking about relative strength. So thank you guys, because Upstart wasn't on the radar. Some more names to add to your radar when we go to Brennan right now for Sector Watch.
Hey guys, quick look at the overall market here. A typical earnings type of day where you get large moves in either direction off reports. kind of offsetting each other. So overall, I mean, the market is negative, but only 0.24. So not that bad. We'll start in the consumer discretionary names here. Starbucks, obviously the big one to the upside, 6%. Good to see Starbucks back in positive territory so far. Everything else, though, in this group, pretty negative, including the travel names, the casinos, all to the downside outside of Marriott. Nice day for Marriott, up 1.9. Amazon, another 3.5% to the downside for AMZN. Tech stocks also in negative territory so far. A lot of earnings names, you can see them. AKAM, I saw ACMI in the pre-market got crushed, down 11.25% today. Payc to the upside on an earnings beat. Same story for the industrials group. A lot of individual movers here on earnings and names. Offsetting each other. Material stocks, wanted to mention positive across the board. A lot of metals moving back to the upside today. Oil, energy and oil stocks, bottom corner there, all positive along with crude, but coming back in after the inventory number. Again, unexpected build there versus a drawdown if you didn't catch that. 0.25% though, guys, for the S&P. Back to you.
All right, yeah, we're booming right now. Finally, let's go Ape Nation, man. We got AMC up 20 cents right now. We have Apple up 80 cents right now. We have Facebook up $1.50 right now. We just took some profit on that name. Facebook, a very, very profitable name for me. Apple, a very, very profitable name for me. Microsoft, not a profitable name for me. So we won't look at that anymore. But there's AMC, man. Apes unite. We should take a little. Excuse me. I was waiting at 99 right there. I don't know how far did we get up there. We got to. As if. Did we? No, we didn't. Did we get there? We got to 96 only. So let's take a piece out. I'll cancel my 99s right now. Oh, sorry, it was 97, actually. I missed it by 1 cent. Okay, so we get some out there at 93 as it rips right back up. But thank you to Larry and to our chat. Not, oh, my God. We don't want to do that. We'll go bang right there because AMC, yeah, man. And that's another name that you could take shares on, right? So you take shares at the bottom. This is what I was saying to Neil, like, I'm not actually that bad. Like, considering some of the sizes and some of the things we've thrown around here, it's really great that we're able to pick Apple out of the air today for the strongness there. And then really great to have Facebook on this move up as well. So yeah, really happy with some of these moves to the upside today. But again, the market's been getting killed. So I am red today so far here on the morning. So that's not something that I like, but hey, you know, some of these days are going to be what they are. So we're going to have to watch out. I still feel like we can get this market back going and have a monster rest of the day. So we're going to hold on to this Apple and see if we can't get back to 161. I do have an out sitting here at just a sub 50 or sorry, greater than 50. So we'll see if we can get an out there. But for right now, I don't know, man. Selling some of these rips seems like the right move, but I do want to hold on to a little bit of Apple.
Yeah, I think if you got something that's working to the upside, there's a decent chance. I'm not saying we're going to the moon. There's a decent chance that we might have made a bottom. I'll do this because I want to talk about Upstart. And I threw in the chat. I didn't see who it was that was talking about Upstart, and I wanted to shout you out for finding that name. But I didn't see who it was. And if you can put it out there, I'd love to give you the shout. But Tesla put in a wick bottom at 888. I got shaken out of this when I tried the second long on Tesla. But if you can hold that wick out bottom and we reclaim 13,000, it's a type of thing going into 2 o'clock that can give you a low. So I didn't hang on to any of the shorts. You know, I'm not in anything that we had, like Moderna, Lyft, and Uber, all out of them at this point. And sometimes the only structured trade, when you have a move down like this, isn't to necessarily short the low. It can be find a good level and try to keep it tight to the vest or find relative strength. So that's Upstart. The good level was Starbucks in front of 78, which it held. That's only flat, however. But if this can start turning around here, and by this, I mean, you know, the NASDAQ reclaiming yesterday's bottoms, getting back above 13,000. I mean, the ES, which never got to where Varun talked about 4120, the S&P 500 didn't even sniff it. You know, it's been showing some signs of strength here, trying to hold back up. So if we can put a reversal on, I don't think we take out the highs because it's a Fed day.
But is not even down.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's 1% on the NASDAQ. And I know when you look at Lyft down 30-something, whatever the heck the number is, 10% on Uber, and you see some of these extreme moves, it feels like it's doom and gloom, but Tesla's down 2% on the day, not even 2%. So you put things into perspective. I do anticipate the moves that you'll see after Powell gets on the Q&A are likely to be bigger in range than potentially what we saw this morning. So you want to make sure you buckle up for that. And before we do that, let's go to Brennan. He's got a name that should have been on my radar, but I guess we forgot about it.
Yeah, one from yesterday. We were talking about Chegg, CHGG, just took out that initial high anyways. Back to the upside after that destruction yesterday.
Okay, another name to look at right now, for sure. It looks like that lift bounced pretty nicely there. We got out of some Apple there at 40, so it actually ripped up into the 40s there. I canceled I was offering 55, so I did cancel that one. Congratulations, anybody that's short today. It's been a real good day for anybody that's been short, and that's not been me. But you know what? AMD is getting close to that level. I feel like Lyft, thank God we were able to get out of this one early, man, because this dropped down pretty nicely there. But if you look to see what's happened, we've just really rebounded nicely off that 20. So we thought that there would be some areas there that Lyft might say, hold my beer to. And it looks like finally 20 might have been that level, as right now you are bouncing around the 50 period. So if you are long Lyft, you may want to, and again, trade your own book, but you may want to think about getting something out right now as you're back to this level that we've already tested before, 2050. So there it comes, nice trade. Anybody that's long off that, I mean, I wish I would have believed in it a little bit more, but I didn't, so I don't have it.
I didn't see any size there. Maybe there was.
The size, yeah, I mean, the thing is, with all the dark pools and stuff, like, I'm not super concerned about size, but 1675 down there for NEO, that's a low trade as well. Not many names. I mean, there are many names down, but like on nothing, down 2.96%, 3% today on NEO. So that 1675 there held numerous times. Don't really know why. There's nothing on the daily. I mean, that's 1650. So if you wanted to test it, if it got back down to 1675, that's something to look at. But we're making a lot of money back right now on this move upside. So there goes Apple, just like we thought might happen. There goes Facebook again as well. That's going to be a nice trade for us. And then other than that, we're just kind of waiting for things to happen. AMC did take out that 15, so that's a good long for us. We'll wait for it. It only went to 1502. Hopefully it can retest that. And then yesterday's move was all the way to 16 off these same levels. So maybe we can get out. You see some consolidation in and around here, 1540. So for me, I think AMC right there at 1540 is probably the level that I'm looking at. So let's hold out. If we can get a 1520, we'll take it. And then we'll go upside from there to 1540. But so far, so good, man. Maybe look at Microsoft there. I see that Day Sports Cards. I haven't seen you before, but yeah, maybe Microsoft's a name that we've got to look at.
So Alex just shouted out that he mentioned Upstart when it broke 88.50. So I want to make sure we got the shout out. So thank you, Alex, for that. You've got to find, this is one of the things about like a trading floor or trading community like we have, is you'll never catch everything. It is completely impossible. That's why we do a watch list. That's why Sean does a sticky note. That's why we go and look for names that are moving. Everyone has the scanners that they prefer, but crowdsourcing is a good way to learn from others, but also find trades out there. And someone had asked, and I was going to talk about it, and it slipped my mind when we were getting some trades, but why I liked NVIDIA. I never got to 200 short on NVIDIA. We're going and playing AMD. But the reason for that type of a trade is the wall, and we talked about this morning, the wall that was 201 to 204 on NVIDIA. Like, look at this. A lot of names have held the bottom. And then they've gotten to the top of these channels and rejected those prices. It's not about it having resistance. What happens when it gets to 200? $18 drop. In the afternoon, late in the day, it drops $7 and can't go any further. Test 200 again, drops $15. Like, this is what's happened all week long, last couple weeks anyways, off 200. So if AMD blowout earnings can't break it through that kind of a level, then you have a short at 200 with a really, really tight stop. And sometimes it's really more about structuring the trade. You know where you're wrong. It's not rocket science. If it gets out of this channel and breaks 204, there's $20 of room to upside, maybe 10 to first level. So that's what you usually look for. A price area that is very, very convincing and very obvious sometimes. Speaking of price levels, FRGE in 33 looks pretty interesting as well. But we got to go to Brendan at the big screen for Money Talks.
Hey guys, yeah, big day for currencies, obviously ahead of the Fed. The U.S. dollar in focus once again. Dead flat as expected ahead of the announcement this afternoon. Will not be the case come 2 p.m. We've been talking in depth over the past couple of weeks about this move, 97.5 up to better part of 104 on the DXY, the dollar index. So that's a daily chart, if you were wondering. So absolutely amazing move to the upside. Will it continue? Will it come back in a little bit with the Fed announcement this afternoon? This will be moving. Because that is flat, pretty much everything else flat as well. Australia higher again today, 0.5% to the upside. They raised rates earlier in the week, remember? So big move back to the upside for the Australian dollar, along with New Zealand was actually positive, but just went red. Once again, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, all in positive territory. That 38,000 level seems to be a sticking point, at least for this, for now. Anyways, guys.
I wish I heard something he said, but good update.
It's exciting, the guys in the back.
Yeah, money talk. So my favorite segment there. You got to watch out for that U.S. dollar, man. I mean, that's going to move around as well coming into Fed right now. So we're going to watch out for the USD coming through. Bitcoin's 38.7, Ethereum 28.3. So just a little bit of an update there. Yeah, it is expected 50 points. So that's pretty much baked in. Like we've already talked about that. I think the market knows that that's what's coming through right now. But Facebook is coming down. Everything's coming down right now as the NASDAQ's back down to lows. So that's why we're pretty happy that we were able to get out of mostly everything here that we do own. I mean, we let Facebook ride all the way up. We're holding a small piece, but that was just out on the way up there as we go. So we're holding about 10% left here off this 308. We're coming back into that, or 208. It did test that 207. So as we're getting ready to break lows, man, yeah, thankfully we were able to get out of the majority of our trades there because, yeah, it's not been a good one for many of these names. And there goes Uber right back down to that 26.
Yeah, it didn't last long.
Yeah, it looked like it wanted to go there. But like I said, we've just bounced off this 50 period 1, 2, 3 times. So Uber right now testing that 25.90. Let's see if it takes that down, man. You're down 11% already on this name. So I don't know. I think you shorted at the 50 period. I don't know if you go long down here during the 25.90. Did Lyft take 20? Is that the question? No. Lyft's still here at 20 flat. So that's the level to look for Lyft. Maybe that comes down and tests there again as well.
Yeah, that's a big one. And look, I see IMPP, you guys mentioned it before. I talked that 102 that was sort of holding things up and back down 100 to 102, finally broke. If this can get through the high, it probably has to also go through 110, but it's got some room to the upside. The volume is just not overwhelming, and I think maybe today is just not enough buyers lined up, but either way, it's starting to get going. I had mentioned only 5 minutes to go before we throw you guys over 6 minutes to go. FRGE, I had mentioned, was getting to a good price level. So it got up to 33, so it had the 30 break. What's 10% from 30? And, it's $33. It's kind of an obvious number. So it gets up there, puts a double top, and is trying to consolidate lower. And there's been no halts on it. Now, if it can hold, and I'm looking for something like 32 to 32.5 to grab a short trade, it might not pop enough to get me in, but that would be an obvious stop out at 33. So I'm looking for that fill. But it's got to give it to me between 32 and 32.5. I don't want to chase it all the way to 31.50. That's like 50-50 from 30 to 33. That's 1-to-1. I don't like that ratio at all. So I have to get a good price.
Okay. We are, I don't know, Airbnb has been an okay stock, but it's just come down. We hit it early, averaged in, got out on the 150 break, and now I'm going to use this 148 as our bottom. So we may have just bottomed out. We tried to bottom there at 148. We bottomed there, and then maybe just right there again at 148.30. So let's go back into Airbnb here and see if we can take out this 150.50 level. I think that's also a push long if it gets there. So that's why I wanted to go now so we don't have to worry about it. My ultimate long, though, would be through here, 150, 150. So if you are looking at Airbnb and it somehow holds this 148 bottom, then that's something to look at. But I'm going to get out if we take that down. So not going to be averaging in, on this name anymore. That's the last trade. We are long Airbnb now, 149.77. So out of the money a little bit, but it's been okay. It's just when it took down that 150, that sucked because we averaged in there at 151. So let's see if it can get back upside. I'm still going to go long if it takes 150, 150, but that's a little ways away right now. Another ridiculous earnings board. So let's go over to Brendo.
Yeah, a few minutes to go. We have a lot to look at here. Make sure you're back here this afternoon, 2 p.m. Join us for the Fed. We'll also talk about earnings. Yeah, here comes a very, very busy board, guys, for tonight.
Yeah, that's one where you really got to pick them out there. I mean, Canada's one tech company. We got Shopify in there in the middle. That's in this market. That's going to be at least 10% in either direction. There's still some energy names out there that I can see. Like I saw Marathon out there. I'm not sure what else we got. Nikola, ooh, God, that could be pretty interesting as well. Ooh, CF is actually a pretty decent stock. Etsy, Fastly.
There's going to be a lot. I mean, you talked about, again.
What's skill short interest?
Yeah, I don't know. Skills, yeah, it's another name. Fastly's there as well. But yeah, you're going to run into a problem tomorrow because there's going to be a lot of names that are going to be down 20% again. There's a few names on there, like look at Fastly, FSLY here. I was going to say I think it's NASDAQ, but it's sorry, I think it's New York, but I just hit NASDAQ anyways, right there. Hopefully this will load, and it won't. But the daily chart, oh, maybe it will. Let's have some faith here. You can see where Fastly's come from. I mean, you mentioned today, I forget what that IPO you're saying was there one that was even worse?
Oh, I thought C3AI. It seemed like that was the worst on a price basis. When I talked about the worst IPO, Uber, I didn't mean the price action on Uber. I meant the actual amount of money the company has lost since it came to market. Like it's just, I think that's the record, Uber. But for price action in the last 2 years, I think C3AI from top to bottom was the worst. But
probably. I mean, we were talking about we'd have to look that up. Maybe someone knows a little bit more. But look at Fastly right now. You can get this all the way back to March 20 lows right now, $10 basically. So if they don't hold anything, like Fastly's a $140 name, now down to $15, like. It's just ridiculous, some of these moves, but there's Fastly. So this is a name that I'm definitely interested in. It's probably a high short interest as well. So if you were thinking about something that could possibly shake the market or shake your account up anyways, I don't know if this will affect the market too much, but Fastly, definitely something tomorrow that I'll be looking at.
Yeah, and like C3AI, I think it was 190 and it's sitting in the teens, which is absolutely
that's
insane.
Bad.
It's crazy price action. Someone's asking me why I would go short on Fergie. Yeah, so look, I understand you got a bull flag and it's strong, but I know where I'm wrong on a 33. If you took a 30 break or a 29 break, like you might be considering taking some profit out here because when you fail these types of levels, it can come back into VWAP. So if you can get anywhere from 32.25, that's risking less than $1 to try and get down to the 30 level. And if it really falls apart, you can hold on to some for 28.29. It's just about the profile of the trade. It's not saying I think it's going down. It's that if you structure it right, you don't even have to be right and we're better than 50-50 because you've held to a good risk level. That's what I'm looking for from going counter trend, because when you're already at the top, buying the top isn't always the best thing to do. I think we all know. I think hopefully we're ready for this because I'm about to go to it. But we're ready for Ms. V. And if you don't know what day it is today, you're about to know.
Hey guys, I hope you're having a great day, and again, a lot to come ahead, so please join Prad and me right after, and don't forget to like this video. We really need your support, and we're very close to 2,000 likes, and that's right, Neil, the biggest Star Wars fan. Happy National Star Wars Day.
There you go, and absolutely may the 4th be with you. Hopefully we'll do a Jedi mind trick on Jerome, quarter point. Do it.
Yeah, it won't be that. But,
no, it won't be that. It won't be that. But imagine he did. Then look, if we get a surprise, like that's
hold
the only.
Longs?
Look, exactly. If there was a surprise, like whether that's a quarter or that's like 7.5, it would be absolute nonsense, right? But we don't expect that. It's more about timetable for balance sheet, or maybe hinting that the next hike could be more aggressive or less aggressive. That's the kind of thing we'll be looking for when he takes the podium, which someone asked earlier, it was like 2 o'clock the decision, but he usually answers questions sometime around 2:30, I think.
It's 2:30 he takes the podium.
Yeah, 2:30. So that's what you have to wait out for. The market picks a direction that time.
Yeah, and right now the market, I mean, this is now the time where probably you'll get just kind of flat action, right? I mean, I feel like the market could pop from here, but SoFi's only at 630 right now. SoFi's a good little long that you could have as well. We talked about that SoFi bottom. If you wanted to take a risk on a name here, it's already bounced off $6 there a couple times. So I think SoFi does have a chance right there to make a little bit of a move back up. You want to talk about criminal? I mean, where is Chamath still around, or is he in jail yet? $25 all the way down to $6 right there. We're just tongue in cheek on all that. I mean, the market's been really nasty. I mean, I own SoFi shares as well. So, yeah. All right. Nice little move to the downside. AMC's starting to pick upside now as well, as it just danced down. We'll see if AMC can get going now as well, back up. Just bounced off that 85. I feel like AMC wants to run. So that should be a good one for market movers for sure. I'm sure they'll be looking at AMC, GameStop, everything. DraftKings down to $13. Facebook back at that 208 as well.
Yeah, exactly. And look, it's a wild one. It's going to get even crazier. Make sure you stick around for the entire day because it's Fed Day. Should be fun. Let's send it on over to Market Movers. Trader Prad, Miss V, go get them.
Welcome to Market Movers. I'm your host, Trader Pratt. It is May the 4th, and May the Force be with you. I got the beautiful Miss V with me to my right.
Thank you, Brad. Happy National Star Wars Day, everyone who is fan of that movie. And guys, welcome. I hope you're having a great day. Be active on the chat as usual. Ask us anything. And please like this video. Spicy day. A lot of stuff is happening right now and more to come.